Chapter 32:10. The Hidden God Slayer Alliance. Because our God Slayer Alliance is classified as a secret, the location of our base cannot be known by others. While Li Hongwang was moving forward, he waved out a large number of paper cranes. The paper cranes flew in the chaotic space and gradually disappeared. Lin Ling knew that these paper cranes could see what was happening within a range of 10 million miles. The reason why he used them was because he was afraid of being followed. It's fine for now. Let's set off immediately. Lin Ling, use your full strength. After a while, Li Hongwang said solemnly, and Lin Ling nodded. Let's go. Following a cry of surprise, Lin Ling and the rest ran wildly in the chaotic space with lightning speed. Lin Ling used the wind technique, and his speed reached 90 world speed. This made Li Hongwang and the rest secretly surprised. His speed was not inferior to theirs. Sakura was not good at speed, and he had a helpless look on his face. However, Li Hongwang hurriedly pulled him and ran wildly with him. Of course, using his full strength constantly consumed a lot of his world essence. Not long after, Li Hongwang and the rest were panting. When they looked at Lin Ling again, they realized that Lin Ling's expression was actually better than theirs. This guy is still a half-step saint. The two of them were surprised at the same time. How could they know that Lin Ling's wind technique was taught by Xiao Yu's grandfather? In terms of world essence consumption, it was naturally more economical than their methods. In addition, Lin Ling had 4 dantians. When one dantian was exhausted, the other dantian would be able to make up for it. Moreover, as he continued to use the wind technique, Lin Ling suddenly had a kind of enlightenment. His speed increased again, and he actually reached 120 world speed. This speed was even faster than Li Hongwang and the rest. This made them depressed and shout, "Freak!" Then, they took out precious heavenly materials and earthly treasures to let Lin Ling recover his realm essence. Unknowingly, 3 days later, an ancient continent appeared in front of them. Lin Ling's expression changed. Yuzhou. That's right, the base of the heavenly court. Li Hongwang and the rest looked at each other and laughed. Our God Slayer Alliance is right under the nose of the heavenly court. Ho Yenru said proudly. Amazing. The most dangerous place is also the safest place. I can't believe you guys thought of that. At this moment, Lin Ling had no choice but to be impressed. This was because they were under the watch of the heavenly court. If they were discovered, they would be wiped out in one fell swoop. The experts of the God Slayer Alliance would not be able to stop Martial God Qilin's massacre. However, it was also the reason why Martial God Qilin did not expect the God Destruction Alliance to be right under his nose. You may leave. Then, Li Hongwang took out a large cloak and used a secret technique to hide his identity. Lin Ling, I'll teach you a secret technique. As long as no one is within 2 meters of you, even martial ancestors won't be able to detect your aura. On the other hand, Ho Yenru looked at Lin Ling. But as soon as she finished speaking, her expression changed drastically. Because Lin Ling was right in front of her, but she couldn't sense any aura from Lin Ling. Moreover, even if there was, it was a chaotic aura. Obviously, Lin Ling's concealment technique was better than theirs. You really don't look like a half-saint. Ho Yenru shook her head helplessly. Lin Ling smiled and passed the aura concealment technique to Sakura. This secret technique was something he had accidentally obtained in his previous life. It was suitable for half-saints and allowed one to change their appearance at will. Sakura thought it was fun and turned into an old man. As for Xiao Yu, she didn't need to change because no one recognized her. Yu Province, TSK, the Divine Prefecture is even bigger than the Spirit Province. We were in too much of a hurry to leave the Divine Dreamland last time. Today, we must take a good look at the Yu Province. Alright. After landing on the ground, Sakura looked around curiously. When Lin Ling was dismantling the divine boundary array, Lin Ling had given him a lot of nether dragon-associated fluid. This had greatly increased his strength and allowed him to reach the 5th level of half-saint. Most importantly, his white bones talent had a portion of the aura of a dragon. According to the estimation of his strength, Sakura was at the middle stage of the half-saint realm. He was invincible under the heavens. Yu province is very big, but there are many people from the heavenly court here. For instance, Emperor Yu. I heard that he is very close to the heavenly court. Therefore, we must be careful. Li Hongwang whispered as they walked along the ancient street. Oh right, our god-slaying alliance has 3 leaders. You've already met one of them. As for the other 2, they should be rushing over right now. Ho Yenru also secretly transmitted her voice to Lin Ling. This made Lin Ling extremely curious. Who exactly was that person he had met? Before long, a huge imperial palace appeared in front of them. This imperial palace was like a pillar, dazzling in gold and jade, majestic and awe-inspiring. It reached all the way to the horizon and one couldn't see the end of it. This is Emperor Yu's calming divine palace. Li Hongwang immediately explained. His words caused Sakura's expression to change. The God-slaying alliance's base was actually within Emperor Yu's imperial palace. After that, Sakura couldn't help but laugh. The God-slaying alliance really had a good plan. This was suggested by one of the leaders. The son of the demon has also met that leader. Li Hongwang immediately laughed when he saw Sakura's expression. It seems that this leader is also a talent. Lin Ling and Sakura couldn't help but nod their heads in admiration. Before Li Hongwang arrived at the divine palace, he took out a token. Immediately, the guards at the gate of the divine palace opened up a path for them. These guards were all at the peak of the half-saint realm. From this, it could be seen that Yu province was indeed much more powerful than the spirit province. After entering the palace, they didn't enter the main hall. Instead, they walked through the side halls. Before long, the sound of women laughing could be heard in front of them. When they got closer, they realized that this was simply a lake of wine and a forest of jade. This was because these women were very beautiful. They wore thin gauze and were playing around a young man. The young man was flirting with the beauties from time to time. He simply looked like a hedonistic young master. This is Emperor Yu's 97th prince. In Yu province, this prince is a person who doesn't practice martial arts and doesn't do proper work. Before they got closer, Li Hongwang explained and curiously stared at the beauties. However, he was quickly rewarded with a slap from Ho Yenru. Li Hongwang didn't dare to look anymore and quickly lowered his head. Seeing this, Lin Ling shook his head and smiled. However, his gaze was also fixed on the hedonistic young master. He discovered that although he looked hedonistic on the surface, there was a glimmer of light in the depths of his eyes. Obviously, this hedonistic prince was doing everything to hide it from outsiders. He obviously had a blood feud with the heavenly court. Yo, my playmates are here. Let's talk inside. The young man also saw Lin Ling and the others. He laughed loudly and swaggered over to greet them. Moreover, he led them into the hall. There were even more beauties in the hall. However, they only passed by the hall and quietly walked along the side corridor. When they looked back, they saw that Lin Ling and the others had already appeared in the hall. This was obviously an illusion. What a profound spirit formation technique. Lin Ling couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. This was set up by our other leader. The hedonistic prince also tore off his mask and became incomparably calm. Moreover, he curiously looked at Lin Ling and the others. Let's talk inside. It's not convenient to explain right now. Chapter 32:11. The Three Leaders. Li Hongwang walked along the corridor, and before long, a large number of doors appeared on both sides of the corridor. Li Hongwang took out a compass and calculated for a moment. Finally, he stopped at one of the doors and pushed it open. Fuck, they're really cautious. If I didn't guess wrongly, these doors should be changing at any time. Sakura couldn't help but exclaim. That's right. If you enter the wrong door, you'll end up in hell. You'll die for sure. Li Hongwang immediately walked through the door. The world behind the door was filled with singing birds, fragrant flowers, green mountains, and clear water. It was a completely different world. Furthermore, there were several powerful auras hidden in the world. Not only were there martial saints, there were even a few martial progenitors. Li Hongwang, who are these people? The entrance of Lin Ling's group undoubtedly caused all the experts to become cautious. A large number of experts walked out from the Green Mountain. The person in the lead was actually at the First Heaven Saint realm. Most importantly, he was extremely young. People from the God Slayer Alliance. Li Hongwang said expressionlessly as he looked at the other party. What are you doing, casually bringing people in? Are you trying to break the rules? The young man uttered a furious roar as his aura was unleashed. Jindong, don't mess around. You don't have the final say in the God Slayer Alliance. Seeing this, Li Hongwang also unleashed a powerful aura. Li Hongwang, safety first. These people haven't passed the test, how can you bring them in so easily? The others clearly didn't trust Lin Ling and the others. After all, the God Slayer Alliance's base was a matter of great importance. Therefore, they had no choice but to be cautious. Keep an eye on them and take out everything they have. The youth in the lead waved his hand and his gaze landed on Xiao Yu and Sakura because he knew that the more ordinary an existence was, the more likely they were spies of the celestial heavens. Whereas Sakura had transformed into an old man and Xiao Yu was a child. He didn't believe that there wasn't anything fishy about this combination. Under his gaze, there were immediately Saint Realm experts that attacked Sakura. Moreover, there were as many as 5 of them. This caused Sakura to be subdued in an instant. Motherfucker, you're courting death. Sakura also started cursing, but it was of no use. Jindong, do you know what you're doing? Seeing this, Ho Yenru was furious. Safety first. However, the young man in the lead didn't care about that at all. He attacked Xiao Yu, and when he saw the rabbit and deer in Xiao Yu's hand, he was even more puzzled. Because he'd never seen anyone with a rabbit and a deer. Most importantly, this little girl didn't possess any strength at all. However, the more ordinary it was, the more suspicious it was. If you dare to touch her, believe it or not, I will kill you immediately. However, just as the youth was about to touch Xiao Yu, Lin Ling coldly spoke. This caused the young man to stop moving. He calmly looked at Lin Ling and then smiled. I don't believe it. As soon as he finished speaking, his hand reached out toward Xiao Yu. Furthermore, he grabbed the little white rabbit in Xiao Yu's hand as if he wanted to investigate something. Jindong, stop. However, when he lowered his head to investigate, someone stopped him. He saw that on top of a green mountain in front of him, a man had his hands behind his back and was looking indifferently at the ground. The leader of the Tomb Raiders. Looking at that person, everyone's expression changed greatly. That man's strength was not weak. He was actually at the peak of the saint stage. If you dare to attack again, that person will shoot an arrow at you. However, that man ignored everyone's gazes and continued to speak. This caused the young man called Jindong to be unable to help but raise his head to look over. Only now did he notice that a 5-meter-long enormous bow had suddenly appeared in Lin Ling's hand, and the divine arrow that seemed like a dragon god was even aimed at Jindong. It was a sign that if he continued to act recklessly, he would be killed with a single arrow. You! Jindong instantly shouted angrily. He didn't expect a junior at the 5th stage of the half-saint realm to be so arrogant. However, he could also sense that the bow was extremely extraordinary. Let go of the rabbit. At the same time, the man on top of the green mountain calmly spoke. In the end, Jindong reluctantly released the little rabbit. Son of the devil, why have you come to our God Extermination Alliance? The man on the green mountain clearly recognized Lin Ling. Son of the devil. The surrounding people were instantly shocked. Naturally, they had heard of the son of the devil. It could be said that there were many hidden dragons and crouching tigers in the 9 prefectures. There were many experts who couldn't be underestimated, and the son of the devil was one of them. However, Lin Ling didn't say a word. He stepped forward and actually walked toward Jindong. What are you trying to do? Jindong also saw Lin Ling's actions and frowned. However, he didn't attack because he believed that the son of the devil wouldn't dare to be arrogant in this place. Bang! However, Lin Ling instantly attacked. The power of 600 worlds erupted and his 4 dantians merged. His palm was like a dragon's claw and suddenly grabbed Jindong's neck. This action shocked everyone. Even Li Hongwang and the others were shocked. As for Jindong, after Lin Ling grabbed his neck, he immediately realized that he couldn't resist. Although he was at the first stage of the Saint stage, his strength wasn't enough to defeat Lin Ling. On the contrary, he was instantly subdued by Lin Ling and lost his ability to fight. Son of the devil, do you know what you're doing? If you dare to touch her, we can guarantee that you won't be able to leave this place. After being stunned for a moment, the experts in the surroundings shouted angrily. Come on, kill me. Jindong roared as well. However, the man on the green mountain's expression changed slightly, and he immediately said, stop. Because he could see that Lin Ling really dared to kill him. I've said it before. If you touch even a hair on Xiao Yu's head, then you'll die. However, Lin Ling turned a blind eye and continued to look coldly at Jindong. His eyes were filled with killing intent, and it finally caused Jindong to break out in a cold sweat. How about you give me some face? At the same time, the man on the green mountain floated down. Who do you think you are? Why should I give you face? However, Lin Ling didn't even look at him as he spoke. His words caused the man to be furious. A junior at the half-saint stage actually dared to speak to him, an expert at the peak of the saint stage. Could it be that the son of the devil intends to die here? Strands of cold energy effused out from his body. Ha ha ha. Interesting. Truly interesting. Jindong, apologize right now. However, right when the man was about to attack, a carefree voice resounded through the boundless green mountain, and it caused a large amount of echoes. The expressions of the others instantly changed. Another leader had arrived. Jindong, apologize right now. Do you know who you've offended? He's a madman. There's nothing in the 9 prefectures that he doesn't dare to do. However, the person who'd arrived spoke once more, and his voice carried dense majesty. Leader. Jindong was naturally extremely unwilling to accept this. Listen to him. Otherwise, if you die, then you'll have died for nothing. At the same time, another clear and melodious voice resounded. To everyone's surprise, it was a woman who'd spoken this time. However, their expressions changed drastically because this woman was one of the 3 leaders. Chapter 32:12. Join the God-slaying alliance. Moreover, the son of the demon wasn't a member of the God-slaying alliance. On the other hand, Jindong was a member of the God-slaying alliance. Yet, both leaders were speaking up for the son of the demon. This caused everyone to have some speculations. I'm sorry, I was reckless before. At this time, Jindong had no choice but to speak. Lin Ling also let go of his neck. He lightly said, apologize to her, and also apologize to the rabbit. Hearing this, Jindong's face filled with anger. Apologizing to the little girl was one thing, but this bastard actually apologized to the rabbit. What was a rabbit? Involuntarily, he hurriedly looked behind him, only to see the man from before nodding at him. This made him gloomily apologize. Looking at his waist, he said in a sobbing tone, "Senior Rabbit, I'm sorry. I was reckless before. Please don't take it to heart." As these words came out, everyone nearly laughed out loud. But because the leaders were here, they all restrained themselves. As for the little white rabbit, it jumped up and down. It didn't even look at Zhendong and instead pooped on the ground. This caused Zhendong's eyes to wildly twitch. He was so angry that he wanted to die. At the same time, two figures appeared in the distance. They brought a large number of people with them as they slowly walked over. These two people came from two different directions. This meant that there was another way out of this paradise. Clearly, this was also a way out. And one of them was someone that Lin Ling recognized. He couldn't help but be surprised. This was because he was the monster young master. As for the other woman, Lin Ling had also seen her before in the divine dreamland. She was the descendant of Miao School's true inheritance, Overnight Snow. They were actually one of the two leaders and also enemies of the heavenly court. This result left Lin Ling extremely surprised. "Everyone, there is no need to panic. He is one of us. His name is the son of the demon. I'm sure everyone has heard of his name." The monster young master smiled as he walked over. His hands were behind his back and his long hair was casually tied behind his head. Although he appeared calm and relaxed, every movement of his was filled with the elegance of a powerhouse. Everyone present wasn't weak. But as they looked at the monster young master, their eyes were filled with awe. It was obvious that young Master Yao's prestige in the God Slayer Alliance was not low. Young Master Yao, he hasn't passed the test yet. It doesn't seem right for him to join the alliance so rashly. Muajin Tianzi, who was also one of the leaders, said with a smile. "There's no need for that. I trust him." Young Master Yao replied with a smile. Although his words were polite, they carried an unquestionable authority. Although Muajin Tianzi was still smiling, there was a hint of displeasure in his eyes. He was one of the leaders, but young Master Yao seemed to think that he was the number one leader. "Leader of the Tomb Raiders, I understand what you're trying to say. The rules of the trial are for the sake of everyone's safety, to prevent spies from coming in and harming everyone. However, the son of the demon doesn't need to take the trial. He almost killed Martial God Qilin because of the god-slaying formation." At this moment, the beautiful Ye Shui also spoke. Her words also supported Lin Ling. Hearing her words, everyone's eyes flashed. Only now did they remember the real event that made the son of demon famous in the 9 provinces. That's right, it was the gods of destruction. Could it be? Then, everyone looked at the son of the demon in disbelief. That's right. This is also the reason why we invited him. We wanted to borrow the son of the demon's formation to kill Martial God Qilin. At almost the same time, Ye Shui spoke word by word. Could it be that there really is a god-slaying formation? An old man looked at Ye Shui in disbelief. Perhaps to him, all of this was too surreal. His spirit formation Tao is even more powerful than mine. Ye Shui was still staring at Lin Ling as she spoke word by word. After receiving her affirmation, the way everyone looked at Lin Ling changed. After all, although the son of the demon was famous, which of the people present didn't have an illustrious reputation? On the other hand, if the son of the demon possessed the power to slay gods, then his position in the God Slayer Alliance would definitely not be light. The reason why they, the God Slayer Alliance, were together was because they wanted to slay gods. The heavenly court was spread throughout the 9 provinces. Moreover, they would often forcefully plunder the geniuses of the 9 provinces. Because of that, they had offended many experts in the 9 provinces. As for them, they were one of them. Please forgive us for offending you earlier. Zhendong looked at Lin Ling and hurriedly bowed. Although he was still brooding over what had happened earlier, after knowing Lin Ling's strength, he was willing to do it. Because, for the sake of revenge, he had waited for almost 1,000 years. One after another, the others followed suit and bowed to Lin Ling. Even Emperor Touch Gold did the same. "I'm sorry. I underestimated you earlier. It's fine. Everyone was just being cautious." Everyone sincerely apologized. As for Lin Ling, he wasn't a petty person. Naturally, he smiled and waved his hand. When Li Hongwang and the others saw this scene, they all laughed. They already knew that when Lin Ling's strength was announced, how everyone would treat the son of the demon. Today, our God Slayer Alliance also has a fierce general. Everyone, let's welcome him. The young beast lord was the first to speak, causing the crowd to cheer loudly. Then, everyone welcomed Lin Ling forward and brought him to a small pavilion. Outside the pavilion, there were many tables. Everyone sat down and started drinking. As for Lin Ling, he was welcomed into the pavilion to drink with the 3 leaders. Furthermore, this was the best treatment, as even martial progenitor realm experts were only allowed to drink outside the gazebo. "Son of the demon, when I saw you in the ancient forbidden forest previously, you were indeed extraordinary. You actually swept away all the major forces. Even I admire you." Young Beast Lord raised his wine cup and waved it at Lin Ling. "However, you secretly joined my force and stole many good things. You used me as a tool. You are the first person in the 9 prefectures to do so." Hearing this, the surrounding people were shocked once again. Lin Ling also noticed that although young Beast Lord seemed to be complaining, he actually didn't care. He smiled and said, "At that time, I had no choice. I hope young Beast Lord doesn't mind. Let bygones be bygones. Now, we are in the same boat." Young Beast Lord really didn't mind. He looked outside the pavilion and said, "Come, let me introduce you. This is you State's #1 Saint Stage Genius, Yi Lin Yun. This is Senior Tsang Xian, a martial ancestor." Young Beast Lord introduced the experts in the God Slayer Alliance one by one. One had to admit that the God Slayer Alliance was really powerful. They were hundreds of times more powerful than the experts in the spirit state. However, Lin Ling could also see that young Beast Lord had spent a lot of effort to gather this group of people. This is Majin Tianzi from the Yen state. He is from the Tin Ghost tribe. Their tribe has very few people, but they specialize in the great tomb of the gods and demons. They have a way to break through any dangerous place and reach the heart of the tomb. Chapter 32-13. The Era of the 4 Supreme Gods. Young Beast Lord continued to introduce them, and Lin Ling also nodded to these people. After taking a closer look, he discovered that within the God Slayer Alliance, his cultivation was the lowest. However, the God Slayer Alliance didn't look at one's cultivation level. Instead, they looked at one's contribution to the God Slayer Alliance. Therefore, this was the reason why Lin Ling's position here wasn't low. Although we come from different places, we share the same ideals and are united as one. Now that you have joined us, everything is ready. Yi Shui also spoke up. In the past, Lin Ling had destroyed the deities, and this news had spread far and wide in the 9 states. Therefore, if there was another chance, it was not impossible for him to destroy the deities. Lin Ling went straight to the point. "I can set up the god's barrier formation again and alter some of the barriers to deal a fatal blow. However, I'll need martial god Qilin to enter the formation. Otherwise, it'll be useless." "Then, where should we set up the formation?" Ye Shui hurriedly looked at Lin Ling and said. "I know of a good place called the demonic universe. It's part of the universe's chaos and isn't too far from here. Why don't we set up the formation there?" Ma Jin suggested. "That place is indeed not bad. No one has approached it at all. Why don't we do it there?" Many people immediately nodded. However, young Master Yao frowned and said almost at the same time as Lin Ling, that place isn't the best. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone's expression changed. Young Master Yao was also shocked. He didn't expect Lin Ling to have the same opinion as him, so he decided to let Lin Ling do the talking. The quieter a place is, the more troublesome it is. Although martial god Qilin looks like a martial god, he's a cautious and timid person. Therefore, he might not come to an unknown place. Lin Ling explained. Then where is the most suitable place? Prince Majin hurriedly looked at Lin Ling. Lin Ling pondered for a moment, then suddenly looked at the young demon lord. Both of them smiled, as if they both had a target in mind. Son of Devil, you speak. The young demon lord's admiration for Lin Ling grew. Not only was this son of the demon lord frivolous, even his temperament was so meticulous. It's in Yuzhou, and it's in the divine palace. After Lin Ling smiled, he enunciated each word clearly. Everyone's expression changed drastically when they heard this. They hurriedly looked at young Master Yao as if they wanted to get his confirmation. I think so too. After all, this place is very close to the Heaven Court. Martial God Qilin will lower his guard in front of his own home. Maybe he will come out in full force. Young Master Yao said indifferently. With his affirmation, everyone decided to set up the god's formation here. Coincidentally, during this period of time, Emperor Yu went to the Yan province. With our strength, it's not difficult to secretly set up a formation in the divine palace. The hedonistic prince added. Since that's the case, I'll leave the location to you, son of devil. The three leaders all looked at Lin Ling, and Lin Ling also smiled and nodded. Everyone was excited. They had been waiting for this day for a long time. In fact, Lin Ling was the same. The location of the god formation has been confirmed. Next, we have to figure out how to lure martial god Qilin out. However, the heavenly court's vitality is greatly damaged. If we force our way in and provoke the heavenly court, martial god Qilin might come out. Someone said. Martial god Qilin has always wanted to catch all of us in one fell swoop. If he knows that we're here, he won't miss this opportunity. Therefore, it's not difficult to lure him out. The difficult part is how to lure him into the formation. Moreover, regardless of whether we succeed or fail, one of the 10 martial gods of the 9 prefectures, Luli Empress and martial god Wentian will be enraged. At that time, we will have to prepare a backup plan. The others said one after another. 10 martial gods of the 9 prefectures. Lin Ling's curiosity was piqued. Yes, martial god Qilin is one of the 10 strongest martial gods of the 9 prefectures. Luli Empress and martial god Wentian are his son and daughter. Young Demon Lord explained, in reality, the 9 prefectures are also divided into different levels. For example, the divine prefecture's god emperors, other than the Miao prefecture and the Yan prefecture, the other god emperors are the lowest level. Then there are the Flying Dragon Organization, the Fortune Travel Manor, the Divine Escort Mansion, the Heavenly Court, and other powers that are spread throughout the 9 prefectures. Then there are the 9 prefectures' 10 perils. Hearing this, Lin Ling roughly understood. The lowest level was the 9 prefectures' god emperors, such as the Azure Emperor and the Heavenly Emperor. The second level was the Flying Dragon Organization. The third level was the 9 prefectures' 10 evils, Miao Prefecture's Duan clan and Wangu clan. In fact, in the past, the 100 great bloodlines were also very famous. Unfortunately, they gradually declined because the era is constantly changing. Young Master Yao said again. Is there a 4th level? Lin Ling asked again. The 4th level is the martial god world, led by the 10 great martial gods of the 9 prefectures. Of course, there is a final level, which is the god of the 9 prefectures. The 4 great gods era? Yes. These 4 great gods are the only gods left from the clash of gods and demons during the gods era. It is said that some of the 10 great martial gods of the 9 prefectures are the disciples of the ancient gods. Young Master Yao continued to introduce. Hearing this, Lin Ling sucked in a breath of cold air. Even Li Xiaoyao didn't reach such heights in the past. If one were to evaluate them, they would be at the second level, the level of the Flying Dragon organization. Most importantly, I heard that Luli Empress is the disciple of one of the four great gods. Therefore, this is the reason why we have to escape. Young Master Yao said again. Lin Ling's eyes suddenly flickered. He never thought that Luli Empress would reach such heights. If Luli Empress chased after them, how could they stop her with their strength? Lin Ling couldn't help but glance at the crowd. He found that everyone's fighting spirit was boiling and there was no trace of fear on their faces. This group of people was indeed willing to take revenge with their lives. Moreover, there were many hot-blooded youths here, but they weren't afraid. So, why should Lin Ling be afraid? At worst, they could just escape together. Lin Ling's eyes also began to flicker with a burning light. Young Master Yao and Yi Yeshua looked at Lin Ling indifferently with a smile on their faces. They didn't misjudge Lin Ling. Lin Ling was also a fearless person. Lure the Qilin Empress. Lure martial god Qilin, lure the snake out of its hole, use the god-slaying formation, and deal a fatal blow. The plan has been set. Now, we need to escape. There are many ways to leave this world, but it depends on our luck. Once we kill martial god Qilin, the experts will come for us. We need to leave this place as soon as possible, otherwise, we'll all die. Everyone, are you afraid? Young Master Yao also stood up and looked at everyone indifferently. Everyone looked at each other and didn't say anything. Instead, the corners of their mouths curled into fearless smiles. They had chosen to join the God-slaying alliance. When had they ever been afraid? Alright, let's act according to the plan. Son of Demon, tell us what you need to set up the formation. We'll try our best to satisfy you. Chapter 32:14. God-slaying plan. Ye Shui looked at Lin Ling and said, Son of Demon, although my spirit formation Tao is not as good as yours, I can still help you and save you some time. What do you think? That would be great. Lin Ling smiled. He looked at Xiao Yu beside him and then at Sakura. He knew that a god-slaying war was about to begin. In the following days, they disguised themselves and quietly set up spirit formation bases around the divine palace. Ye Shui was also helping Lin Ling during this process. How is this possible? This spirit formation Tao is incompatible with fire and water. How can it be set up at the same time? Ye Shui was surprised by Lin Ling's spirit formation Tao because it was beyond logic and knowledge. The spirit formation Tao is the same as martial arts. If you stick to the rules too much, you will be stuck in the same place. So, if you want to reach a higher level, you have to throw away all your knowledge. Lin Ling said as he quietly set up a spirit formation Tao in a corner of the divine palace. Throw away all my knowledge. Ye Shui was shocked and looked at the young man in shock. She could not understand why this young man was more powerful than her in the spirit formation Tao. Most importantly, she was the successor of Miao Shen's true teachings. Go to the east and set up the withering Zen cloud wood formation and the coiling dragon flame formation. You should be able to set up these formations. Okay. Every time night fell and there were fewer guards in the divine palace, Lin Ling and Ye Shui would quietly set up the formations. This continued for an entire month. Finally, the Nine Gods' ancient Su formation was completely completed, and it was concealed. The others were constantly looking for news about the heavenly court. The entire Yuzhou was in a state of turmoil. A storm was coming. Early in the morning, everyone gathered in the base and waited for the others to arrive one after another. The crucial moment has arrived. Leader, do you think the Son of Demon can be relied on? Someone suddenly said softly. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone fell silent. It was no wonder that they doubted Lin Ling. This was the most crucial time. If they failed, the God-slaying alliance would be wiped out. The leader looked into the distance and sighed. In fact, I only have 60% confidence in him. What? Hearing this, someone immediately cried out in surprise. Me too, and I only have 50% confidence. But very soon, someone also voiced his opinion. At this moment, everyone's self-confidence also quietly weakened. However, the arrow is already knocked on the bow, and it has to be shot. At least the son of the devil still has 60%, and we only have 10%. So, we can only gamble, said the leader of the Tomb Raiders. Everyone sighed and looked like they were ready to fight to the death. So what if you didn't believe Lin Ling? They had no other choice. Moreover, young Master Monster Knights now trusted Lin Ling, so any objections were useless. Just as they were whispering to each other, young Master Yao finally arrived with Lin Ling and the others. The leader of the Tomb Raiders group turned to look at young Master Yao and the others. Young Master Yao was the calmest among them. Just like his style, he seemed to have everything under control. He glanced at everyone and immediately knew what they were worried about. However, he didn't explain anything because he also knew that the God Slayer Alliance had no other choice but to fight with their backs against the wall. If we succeed in destroying the gods today, everyone here will be famous for thousands of years. We will be the first force in JoJo to destroy a god. Young Master Yao finally spoke. His words were filled with passion, causing everyone's eyes to turn red. We will definitely succeed. Young Master Yao raised his fist. Everyone raised their fists. Their eyes were filled with the determination to face death. Follow the plan and restart the God-slaying alliance. Let's go. The three leaders looked at each other and said in unison. Instantly, the members of the God-slaying alliance rushed out of the base, led by the leader. Young Master Yao looked deeply at Lin Ling and said solemnly, "It's up to you now." Lin Ling smiled faintly. "My goal is to destroy the gods as well. I will do my best in this battle. Okay, we will meet at the Celestial Palace." After young Master Yao said those words, he led his men and left the base. Those who stayed with Lin Ling were Ye Shui, Sakura, Xiaoyu, and the others. Other than Xiaoyu, everyone else was extremely nervous. This was a battle of life and death. Son of the demon, are we ready? Even Ye Shui was extremely nervous. However, when she looked at Lin Ling, she realized that Lin Ling's eyes were deep and his face was calm. For some reason, this expression actually calmed her heart. Take 3 deep breaths. Let's go. Lin Ling glanced at everyone and then strode out of the base. At this moment, Yuzhou was still bustling with noise. No one knew that a god-slaying array would erupt soon. The god-slaying alliance's first wave of attack was already heading toward the Heavenly Court. Their goal was to lure the Heavenly Court out. Young Master Yao and the others were hiding in Yuzhou, waiting for the result. Lin Ling was doing the same. Half a day later, a voice transmission arrived. The first wave of attack had reached the Heavenly Court and caused a huge commotion, killing many of the Heavenly Court's people. The Heavenly Court's vitality was greatly damaged by my previous god-slaying array. Therefore, the Heavenly Court's people will think that it's normal for the god-slaying alliance to suddenly attack them. Lin Ling said as he looked at the sky from a corner of the Celestial Palace. This was one of their plans. Not long after, another voice transmission arrived. The Heavenly Court's elites were on the move. Therefore, the first wave of God-slaying alliance's martial artists were all rushing back to Yuzhou. The Heavenly Court's elites are on the move. Therefore, we must kill all of them. Only then will the Heavenly Court's full strength be mobilized. Finally, Martial God Qilin will arrive. In the southeast of the Celestial Palace, young Master Yao's eyes shone with excitement. Everything was going according to their plan. Rumble. Indeed, a large number of martial artists began to descend from the sky above Yuzhou. They rushed toward the ground, followed by a large number of Heavenly Court's elites. There were even void battleships. Obviously, the Heavenly Court had also mobilized many elites to eliminate the God-slaying alliance's people. Devour them. However, the God-slaying alliance's second wave of attack had been waiting for a long time. Martial ancestor elites were mobilized, stirring up the clouds and forcefully dragging the void battleships into the ground. This time, the Heavenly Court's elites were shocked. They realized that they had been tricked. So many God-slaying alliance members were hidden in Yuzhou. Request for help. Heavenly Court, request for help. The Heavenly Court's elites quickly requested for help and informed the Heavenly Court of everything that had happened. The Heavenly Court obviously did not expect the God-slaying alliance's full strength. Obviously, the God-slaying alliance had come prepared. God-slaying alliance. An old man sat cross-legged in a huge palace in the Heavenly Court. After receiving the news, he slowly opened his eyes. Heavenly Court, mobilize everyone. We must uproot the God-slaying alliance. Chapter 32:15. The godly cannons bombarded Yu province. This was because this was the best opportunity to eradicate the God-Slayer alliance. The conflict between the two forces had been going on for thousands of years. If they missed this opportunity, it would be very difficult to find the God-Slayer alliance again. After all, the God-Slayer alliance's concealment techniques were extremely famous. Lord Martial God, this doesn't seem right. The God-Slayer alliance has always been operating in the dark. This time, they have surfaced and confronted the Heavenly Court head-on. This is different from their usual style. However, there were also people in the hall who objected. This person was obviously more cautious. That was in the past. Not long ago in the Spirit Province, our Heavenly Court suffered great losses and Lord Martial God almost died. Therefore, the God-Slayer Alliance thought that their chance had come and chose to confront us head-on. I think so too. What a joke. A bunch of trash gathering place actually thinks they can challenge the heavens. There's no need to worry too much. Let's kill them all. However, many people had the opposite opinion. This was because too many people had died in the Spirit Province. Almost 90% of them had died. This caused them to suppress their anger all this time. After speaking, they looked at the old man again. The old man was expressionless as he waved his arm again. Heavenly Court, move out. Move out. All the experts of the Heavenly Court were marching toward Yu province. They didn't know that their actions had already led them into the God-Slayer Alliance's trap. Right now, they were waiting for the big fish to fall into the trap. Heavens, why are there so many experts of the Heavenly Court here? I heard that the God-Slayer Alliance is challenging the Heavenly Court. They must be crazy. In Yu province, all the cultivators looked at the sky. Their hearts were in shock. Another huge scarlet battleship appeared in the sky. Outside the battleship, there were blazing flames as if the sun was gliding across the sky. Around the huge battleship, a large number of experts gathered. Fire! A deafening sound rang out. At the front of the scarlet battleship, blazing flames were gathering. Then, 100-meter wide fire pillar shot down. Rumble! That fire pillar was extremely powerful. It reached the ground and pierced through the huge Emperor Yu's divine palace. Fire! The experts of the Heavenly Court didn't give Emperor Yu any face. The fire pillars and cannons continued to bombard the Emperor Yu's divine palace as if they wanted to kill everyone in the divine palace. In fact, these merciless cannons had indeed killed many of Emperor Yu's men. Boom! 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 Endless echoes reverberated throughout the entire world under the impact of the giant cannon. Even the sky was shaken into a pitch-black void. Even some of the weaker cultivators were killed if they got too close to the Yu Emperor's divine palace. Don't fire, we're Emperor Yu's men. In the huge divine palace, many people were begging for mercy. Kill. However, Anza's, to use Divine Slayer Alliance. Because of that, it would have been better if those people hadn't appeared. However, as soon as they did, the cannons in the sky began to bombard them. To thee of the heavens. As for the members of the God Slayer Alliance, they were still hiding in the divine palace. When they saw this scene, many of them secretly gnashed their teeth in hatred. Of and endure. Lords as emperors s great emperor slayer alliances. Brother. Similarly, in another side hall, Xiaoyu had clearly seen the people who had been killed outside. She looked at Lin Ling as if asking for help. That was because she saw quite a few children around her age who were currently in the midst of the gunfire. Lin Ling looked at Xiaoyu and saw that her eyes were wet and her body was trembling. Her gaze softened Lin Ling's heart. He kissed Xiaoyu's forehead and decided to rush out of the side palace to save them. There were countless people in Emperor Yu's divine palace. Lin Ling couldn't save all of them. However, if he saw innocent children, he would definitely save them. His actions shocked Yi Shui. She cried out, "Son of demon, don't be rash. If you're discovered, it might affect the entire plan. Moreover, you can't guarantee that there won't be any spies among the children. I, the son of demon, may not be a good person, but I can't watch my children die under the cannons." Lin Ling replied coldly and rushed out of the side palace. The side palace was covered with enchantments. Not only was its defense strong, but it was also impossible to see the side palace from the outside. It was blocked by the enchantments. However, after Lin Ling rushed out, the God Slayer Alliance's members started cursing. At such a critical moment, the son of demon was actually soft-hearted. This was completely different from the rumors. They all thought that the son of demon was cruel and heartless. Son of demon, the heavenly court is tyrannical. Who knows how many innocent people have been killed? You can't bear the small things and spoil the great plan. Son of demon, come back. Don't spoil the plan. Voice transmissions sounded from Lin Ling's body. They were from the God Slayer Alliance. However, Lin Ling ignored them. Instead, he used the rain technique to run wildly within the palace. He braved the danger of being hit by the cannons and saved the children. He hid them in a secret place. There was a passage in the secret place that led to the exit of the palace. This passage was also the escape route that the God Slayer Alliance had prepared in advance. Bastard, the son of the demon is unreliable at this critical moment. The godly cannons in the sky are too powerful. If he dies, who can activate the God-slaying formation? Besides, if the heavenly court finds out about our plan and Martial God Qilin doesn't show up, everything we've done will be in vain. I knew it. The son of demon didn't pass the test. He might not be one of us. In a corner of the palace, many members of the God Slayer Alliance were complaining. Young Master Yao was silent. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. All right, he has returned to the side palace. Stop talking nonsense. Young Master Yao, we've staked our lives on this great plan. How can we trust an outsider now? However, they were still unwilling to give up. The bigger picture is more important. All of you, shut up. Young Master Yao turned around and looked at the crowd. His face was cold, and no one dared to speak anymore. And Lin Ling had also safely returned to the side chamber, making Sakura and the rest's hanging hearts finally put down. Xiao Yu, I've saved them all. Lin Ling looked at Sakura and Yi Yeshua and gave them a reassuring look. Then, he smiled at Xiao Yu. Thank you, brother. Xiao Yu jumped up and hugged Lin Ling. Then, she kissed Lin Ling on the cheek. Yi Yeshua frowned and looked at Lin Ling. She was shocked. She thought that since the son of demon was famous in the 9 states, he must be a cold and ruthless person. However, who knew that the son of demon would risk his life for the sake of innocent children? What a strange person. Why are you looking at me? Lin Ling seemed to have noticed Yi Yeshua's strange gaze and couldn't help but laugh. Chapter 32:16. Today, God slaying. If they were martial artists, I wouldn't have saved them. Since they have chosen the path of martial arts, they should have the awareness to shoulder the dangers. However, those children are not martial artists. They are outsiders and cannot have their futures decided by the heavenly court. Therefore, I have to save them. Lin Ling withdrew his gaze and looked outside the side hall. I didn't expect you to have such compassion in a world where the strong are respected. Yi Yeshua also looked outside. Rumble. At this moment, the situation outside was even more terrifying. Countless divine cannons rained down, and even saints would be mercilessly killed. Son of demon, you're the one who's considered everything. If you hadn't set up these barriers beforehand, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to withstand the heavenly court's divine cannons. Yi Yeshua suddenly said with admiration. It was Lin Ling's idea. Otherwise, the members of the God-slaying alliance would already be waiting outside for the heavenly court's experts. At that time, the God-slaying alliance would be greeted by the divine cannon. Needless to say, Lin Ling seemed to be very familiar with martial god Qilin's style. But Lin Ling didn't say anything. He continued to look outside. As he saw the divine cannon gradually disappear, he knew that a great battle had arrived. Young demon lord, it's time to fight. All of you, go. Kill all of the heavenly court's people here. Lin Ling said to the voice transmission talisman. This was also the plan they had made in advance. All right. Young Master Yao replied immediately. At the same time, the heavenly court experts in the sky slowly walked down the divine palace. God Slayer Alliance. A bunch of trash. The entire divine palace has been blasted into ruins. If it were placed in the myriad worlds, tens of millions of worlds would have already been destroyed. The people of the God Slayer Alliance wouldn't have been able to stop them. Go collect their corpses. The heavenly court's experts swaggered away, and they were already thinking of how to claim credit when they returned. However, when they landed on the ground of the divine palace, a terrifying killing intent finally erupted. Dong dong dong. The sound of war drums resounded through the sky of Yuzhou. Oh no, we've been tricked. The heavenly court's experts immediately reacted, and their expressions changed drastically. Rumble. However, just as they were about to make a move, the ground began to wriggle, and a huge mouth suddenly swallowed them. No, save me. What is this? It's so scary. The warrior who was closer to the mouth had just uttered a sound when he was swallowed whole. Following that, an enormous lump of black mud rose from the ground, making one's heart palpitate. World-swallowing beast. After seeing the black mud, the heavenly court's experts' pupils trembled violently. The heavenly court must die today. Another voice rang out, and a gust of wind blew past. Within that mysterious gust of wind, there seemed to be countless hands blowing past. Wherever it passed, the heavenly court experts trembled. When they looked down, they discovered that their flesh and blood had all disappeared. Even their bones had been dug out at some point. Only a head was left floating in the air before it crashed down with a loud thud. This sort of ability could be said to be extremely strange. Even a Saint Realm expert had died without knowing why. This time, the shattered divine palace fell inexplicably silent. All the heavenly court experts swallowed hard. Pa! Finally, the sound of footsteps could be heard. From the ruins, several figures walked out, surrounding all the experts so tightly that not even a drop of water could escape. Among these experts, there were saints and martial ancestors. They were divided into 3 groups. The one on the left had countless tentacles behind him, looking like a demon god. At this moment, he was looking at the heavenly court experts with bloodthirsty eyes. Young Demon Master. Young Demon Master. Someone recognized the young man, and his body trembled again. As for the one on the right, his hands had turned into metal. With a slight movement of his fingers, cracking sounds could be heard. Golden Emperor. Young Demon Master. That's Night Snow. Young Demon Master. The heavenly court experts were getting more and more afraid because these 3 people were extremely famous in the 9 states. Most importantly, they finally knew who the leader of the God Extermination Alliance was. Get out of here immediately. Young Demon Master. A martial ancestor old man roared and took the lead to charge into the sky. Crack. However, just as he reached a height of several thousand miles, an invisible barrier stopped him. Moreover, the barrier's rebounding force was so strong that it actually sent a martial ancestor expert crashing into the ground. Oh no, the sky has been sealed. Seeing this, the cultivators on the ground were shocked again. They finally realized that this was a premeditated plan to wipe out the heavenly court in one fell swoop. Inform the martial god. Inform the God Extermination Alliance. Almost at the same time, all the heavenly court cultivators shouted in unison. Kill! Kill them before the martial god arrives. The experts of the God Extermination Alliance also shouted and charged forward. A massacre was about to begin. If it was the heavenly court of the past, the God Extermination Alliance would not have dared to fight them head-on. Unfortunately, after the heavenly court was massacred by the Spirit Province's great array, more than 90% of the heavenly court's experts had died. Their vitality had not yet recovered, and they were no match for the God Extermination Alliance. Of course, the most important thing was that they did not expect the leader of the God Extermination Alliance to have such a powerful background. Therefore, in a short period of time, the heavenly court suffered countless casualties. The eternal heaven swears not to be human. Cold words that soared into the sky were also heard in the hearts of every U-State's cultivator. Destroy the heavens. This group of people wanted to destroy the heavens. No one dared to get close to the shattered divine palace. They could only sense the intense battle within the divine palace. The battle was so terrifying that it caused the huge battleships in the sky to crash to the ground. After the previous battle, the heavenly court's vitality was greatly damaged. I don't know if they can withstand the God Extermination Alliance's attack this time. The God Extermination Alliance is really terrifying. I heard that this mysterious alliance has gathered many heroes from the 9 states. However, I still feel that they are a little weak against the gods. That might not be the case. Perhaps they are the first people who can destroy the gods. If that day really comes, the 9 states will definitely be in turmoil. Voices rang out in every corner of U-State. To everyone, challenging the gods was simply an impossible task. However, it was happening right in front of their eyes today. Escape. At a height of 1,000 miles, an old man was frantically fleeing. He was getting closer and closer to the sky, but he was blocked by an invisible barrier. Moreover, several death gods started to appear behind him. One of them was an old man at the martial ancestor realm. His eyes were filled with deep hatred for the heavenly court's extermination of his clan. The other people were also wearing large cloaks. Their bodies were emitting cold auras. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I'm martial god Qilan's disciple. The old man cried out in alarm. Today, I will destroy the gods. Under countless gazes, the old man was torn apart by the death gods. This terrifying scene once again shocked the hearts of the people. People guessed that today might be the day when the heavenly court would be uprooted. Martial God, save us. Inside the divine palace, blood flowed like a river. The entire divine palace was sealed and the heavenly court's cultivators could only be slaughtered. They looked up at the sky with anticipation. At this moment, no one could save them except for Martial God Qilin. God Extermination Alliance. Finally, an ancient voice rang out in the sky. It seemed to spread throughout the 9 states. Chapter 32:17. He had been betrayed. This old man had a head of white hair and a domineering aura emanated from his brows. His long robe seemed to be covered in Qilin armor. He was Martial God Qilin. Martial God Qilin, one of the top 10 martial gods of the 9 prefectures, is finally here. The moment the old man appeared, Yuzhou exploded. For many people who had never seen a god before, Martial God Qilin's arrival caused a huge wave in their hearts. Lord War God. In the divine palace, the people of the heavenly court also looked up at the sky, extremely excited. The martial god had come to save them. However, Martial God Qilin did not do anything. He only stared coldly at the ground as if he could see through everything. At this moment, he could clearly see every member of the God Extermination Alliance. He hadn't expected that the God Slayer Alliance would have such a powerful background. Many of them had illustrious reputations in the 9 regions, but they were also people who had been exterminated by the heavenly court. So it's you. Martial God Qilin said in a deep voice. Kill everyone in the heavenly court and break one of his arms. When they saw Martial God Qilin, the eyes of the God-slaying alliance's members turned red because their enemy was right in front of them. However, they endured it because they knew they were no match for Martial God Qilin. Therefore, they had no choice but to slaughter the members of the heavenly court. However, Martial God Qilin was unfazed by the God Extermination Alliance's attack. He simply stood in the sky quietly. This made the members of the God Slayer Alliance secretly anxious. Martial God Qilin was so cautious that he did not enter the formation. Kill. The young beast lord growled again. He didn't believe that Martial God Qilin would remain indifferent after killing all the heavenly court's people. Thus, even more heavenly court experts were slaughtered. However, Martial God Qilin remained still. Gradually, only 100 heavenly court experts were left. They cried, ran, and begged, but it was useless. In the end, when only 50 heavenly court experts were left, Martial God Qilin finally made his move. Only 3 of his disciples were left. He had no choice but to move. His eyes were completely red. Previously, he didn't make a move because he felt like his heart was being stabbed by a knife. Because he felt that there was something fishy about all of this, so he was investigating everything. But now, he knew that he couldn't wait any longer. Thunder, come. In the sky, tens of thousands of lightning roared, turning into a huge ball of lightning, bombarding the ground. Rumble. The whole of Yuzhou was in an uproar. A god's means were indeed terrifying. The first to be implicated was the great array above the divine palace. At this moment, layers of cracks appeared. However, the lightning balls did not stop. They swept across the land and turned the enormous divine palace into a lightning pool. Puff! The members of the God Slayer Alliance all spat out mouthfuls of blood. Some half-saint realm martial artists were directly obliterated. Kill the last 50 of them. The young demon lord's eyes were as red as blood. The battle of life and death, the battle of deity slaying, had begun. They were all death warriors. For the sake of exterminating a deity, they would not hesitate to use their entire lives as compensation. Therefore, amidst the endless lightning, they once again slaughtered the heavenly court's martial artists. Gradually, there were only 30 people left. Seeing this, Martial God Qilin raised his brows and summoned a larger lightning net to suppress the ground. Looking up, the sky had already turned into a thunderous sky. How terrifying! I can't hold on any longer. The members of the God Slayer Alliance started to panic. I have to do it even if I can't. However, the three great leaders continued to shout out one after another. Let him do it. Someone secretly transmitted his voice to the three leaders. Unfortunately, the three leaders shook their heads in response. It was not the time to activate the deity-slaying Great Array. The mission of the God Slayer Alliance is to exterminate deities. When you joined the alliance, you should have realized that death is just the blink of an eye. What's the big deal? Now, let's kill the enemy. Majin Tianzi's body was covered in lightning, but he was not afraid of death. Everyone attacked again. In the end, there were only 10 Heavenly Court's martial artists left. This made martial god Qilin furious. At this moment, his entire body had become huge. He was no longer a human but a god of thunder. His huge hand clawed down heavily. Rumble. The divine palace shattered, and so did the ground. Many of the members of the God Slayer Alliance were killed. However, the remaining people were not afraid. They were determined to kill all of martial god Qilin's people in front of him. Martial god Qilin was one of the 9 prefecture's 10 great martial gods. He was a god. If he allowed ants to kill all of his people in front of him, how could he, a deity, still have face? In the end, when there were only 5 people left in the heavenly court, martial god Qilin finally arrived on the ground. Because he was too far away, he could only injure the members of the God Slayer Alliance. He could not save his own people. Therefore, he decided to fight personally. When they saw him descending from the sky, the members of the God Slayer Alliance became excited. The big fish had finally been caught. Cockroaches like you dare to go against a deity. Martial god Qilin did not seem to know that he had fallen into a trap. After landing on the ground, he began to attack the members of the God Slayer Alliance. The members of the God Slayer Alliance could not stop him at all. Go, son of demon! The remaining people shouted in their hearts. Everything was going according to plan. Now that martial god Qilin had entered the array, it was time to see the son of demon. However, no matter how much they shouted, the son of demon seemed to have disappeared. On the contrary, the members of the God Slayer Alliance died one after another. No! Everyone shouted when they saw this scene. Although they dared to kill deities, they had already seen through life and death. They did not want to die without knowing why. We've been betrayed. Finally, Tujin Tianzi said in disbelief. Boom! His voice was like thunder, stunning the members of the God Slayer Alliance. They had been betrayed. All of this was very possible. Now that martial god Qilin had entered the array, the son of demon did not activate the array. Instead, he watched the members of the God Slayer Alliance die. This explained everything. Perhaps, the son of demon was a spy sent by the heavenly court. How could this be? Even the usually confident young beast lord's expression changed greatly at this moment. Could it be that the scene in the spirit state was a trap? Everything was to hide from the God Slayer Alliance so that the heavenly court could catch them all in one fell swoop. Son of demon, fuck you. Some impatient people even let out a roar. He lied to us. Yi Shui also seemed to be in a daze. When she looked around, she could not see Xiao Yu, Sakura, and the son of demon. It seemed that these guys had already escaped. Instead, they left all of them to face the slaughter of deities. At this moment, she felt like her heart was being cut by a knife. Most of the members of the God Slayer Alliance were hot-blooded youths. Their mission was to kill deities and take revenge. In the end, not only did they fail to take revenge, they were sacrificed here. Kill him. Yi Shui's beautiful eyes turned red at the thought of this. She could die, but only if she could see martial god Qilin die in front of her. Chapter 32:18. The son of the devil had appeared. Kill him. The God Slayer Alliance no longer had a way out. At this moment, all of them were charging toward martial god Qilin. Although they were like moths flying into a flame, they were not afraid of death. I, the demon young master, have been wise all my life. Who would have thought that I would make a mistake here? Young Master Yao let out a long sigh, as if he was singing a sad song of a hero. Rumble. However, a terrifying shockwave of thunder erupted in front of them. Not only did it seal off the huge divine palace, it also sent everyone flying backwards. Some of the weaker ones were directly ravaged to death. However, none of them were weaklings. At this moment, they all erupted with the last of their strength and actually joined forces to break through the lightning shockwave. God, die! Young Master Yao. At the same time, a roar came from the void. The lightning dispersed, and a figure covered in metal wrapped around martial god Qilin like a spider. Wisps of mysterious power collided with each other. Touched the Golden Emperor. Looking at the metallic puppet-like figure, everyone was shocked. Most importantly, Prince of Gold seemed to be keeping martial god Qilin busy. As expected of the She-Ghost race, which specialized in the great tomb of gods and devils, they had the ability to move stealthily. Majin Tianzi, hold on. Young Demon Lord was overjoyed, and demonic patterns began to appear on his face. He also chanted an unknown incantation, and his entire being transformed into a demon god. Everyone, attack with all your might. Ye Shui waved her hand and activated all kinds of barriers to attack martial god Qilin. Since martial god Qilin was being held back by Prince of Gold, it was their best chance. I'll do it, Leg of God. Some martial progenitor realm experts even unleashed their strongest attacks. Rumble. The combined attack of the God Slayer Alliance was extremely terrifying. The Divine Palace exploded, and a deep crater with a radius of several thousand miles appeared. The entire Yu province was shaken. Could it be that this group of people had really killed a deity? Cough cough cough. Chaotic airwaves swept through the area. After a short while, the sound of people vomiting blood could be heard. The members of the God Slayer Alliance were all sitting on the ground, but their eyes were looking ahead nervously. At the same time, in the deep pit, a metal puppet with only half a body floated up. Dead, he's finally dead. The metal puppet let out an excited cry, completely ignoring the serious injuries it had suffered. He was the Emperor of Gold. As soon as his voice fell, everyone became excited. Plop. Emperor Touch Gold knelt down on one knee and shed golden tears as he looked at the sky with gratification. Master, I've avenged you. The people of their Tin Ghost clan were all puppets, and they were all made by one person. And that person was the master of their clan. Unfortunately, that person was killed by the heavenly court. Apart from him, everyone else was crying. They all knelt on the ground, tears flowing out of their eyes. After crying their hearts out, they began to laugh maniacally. The great enmity had been avenged. Today, God slaying. He really destroyed the gods. What a terrifying God Slayer alliance. In a place far away from Yu province, all the cultivators felt their hearts tremble. They knew that after tomorrow, this news would definitely shake the entire 9 province. Aren't you guys overthinking things? However, at this moment, a voice suddenly broke everyone's excitement. Lightning appeared in the sky again, and an old man slowly walked down. Previously, it was only a clone of mine. I thought you guys were great, but in the end, you only barely managed to kill a clone that possessed 30% of my strength. The old man said as he walked, his eyes gleaming with a profound light. He was martial god Qilin. The moment he appeared, everyone's expression changed drastically. Then, they were filled with anger, unwillingness, and pain. They had done their best. However, had they only managed to kill a clone? They thought they had killed martial god Qilin, and they were so happy. You're a demon. Yi Shui let out a roar. A cockroach will always be a cockroach. How could you know the might of a god? Martial god Qilin sneered. He pointed with one hand, and his fingers turned into lightning that blasted the ground. The ground started to roll like waves, and endless lightning raged. The people were electrocuted, and they screamed in pain. This was the real martial god Qilin. The previous clone was nothing compared to him. The difference in strength was like heaven and earth. It seems like you've all reached your limit. Today is the perfect time to kill all of you. Martial god Qilin stepped forward with a merciless look in his eyes. He looked at the person closest to him and pointed with one hand. Ferocious lightning surrounded his finger. Its power was strong enough to kill any martial progenitor. That person was Li Hongwang. He let out a wry smile and yelled at a figure in the distance, "Yenru, I love you." Hongwang. Ho Yenru's face was covered in tears as she looked at Li Hongwang. She wanted to save him, but what could she do? Li Hongwang. Everyone was yelling. Although the God Extermination Alliance did not know each other in the beginning, their lives were tied together due to the mission of exterminating the gods. As time passed, they had developed a good relationship with each other. However, Li Hongwang was about to die. The young beast lord let out a furious roar. It was an unwilling roar. They had failed, they had all failed. They were all going to die here today. He's the one who betrayed us. Majin Tianzi let out a furious roar. If it were not for the son of the demon, they would not have fought the heavenly court head-on. They would not have been wiped out in one fell swoop. He felt as if a knife had pierced his heart. You cockroaches have ambushed the heavenly court time and time again. Today, all of you have shown yourselves. None of you will survive. None of you will escape. Seeing this, martial god Qilin laughed excitedly. At the same time, he pointed with his finger and was about to kill Li Hongwang. However, something unexpected happened at that moment. The heavenly palace suddenly trembled. Thunderbolts raged and wreaked havoc in everything. In the distance, another thunderbolt shot out and collided with martial god Qilin's finger. Rumble. More terrifyingly, the thunderbolt disintegrated martial god Qilin's attack and even forced him to retreat. Who is it? After retreating, martial god Qilin exclaimed in disbelief. The people of the God Extermination Alliance opened their eyes wide. A few figures slowly walked out from the billowing smoke. The person in the lead was dressed in a blue robe. He had a cold expression and was holding a child's hand. He looked like a deity who had just arrived. The son of the demon had appeared. The moment they saw Lin Ling, everyone was shocked. The young beast lord and Yi Shui were stunned. However, soon after, smiles appeared on their faces. Previously, it was his clone that came. Therefore, I could not attack. Otherwise, he would not have fallen into the trap. This person is more cautious than I expected. Lin Ling glanced at the crowd and said indifferently. His words made everyone's hearts pound. They had not been betrayed. They had wronged the son of the demon. Moreover, they had almost ruined the God Extermination Alliance's plan. Chapter 32:19. God Slaying. Martial god Qilin's heart trembled violently. The son of demon seemed to know everything about him, even his style of doing things. Because he was indeed cautious before, the first time he arrived, it was only his clone. He looked at Lin Ling seriously and said, "It's you. You're the ultimate leader of the God-slaying alliance. Who are you?" At this moment, he was also a little panicked. Because he'd almost perished within the God Annihilation Grand Formation the last time, so he knew that this terrifying God formation was capable of absorbing his lightning energy and returning it to him. And he was obviously tricked. If there was one person he feared the most in the 9 provinces, it was Lin Ling. You will know who I am. Last time, you escaped, but this time, you won't be able to escape even if you grow wings. Martial God Qilin, this time, I'll let you see what the real Nine Gods' ancient Su formation is. Lin Ling smiled. His smile was extremely cold. He pushed Xiao Yu towards Indra and then began to form a complicated barrier with his hands. Yi Shui couldn't understand these barriers at all. She couldn't understand them at all. But she knew that the god-slaying array this time was different from the one in the spirit province. Chief God awakening, thunder god descends. Under Lin Ling's roar, the entire god-slaying palace flipped. All kinds of terrifying energy rushed towards Lin Ling like a storm and was absorbed by the barrier in Lin Ling's hands. In the next moment, Lin Ling heavily slapped the barrier on his forehead. There, a mysterious barrier seal immediately appeared. But the terrifying thing was, Thunder God descends. Lin Ling's strength reached the level of a god in the 9 provinces. His long hair turned into lightning, his clothes turned into lightning, his entire body turned into lightning. He stretched out his right hand and lightning rolled, causing Yu province to explode. Countless bolts of lightning shot up from the ground like flames. If there really was a god in the 9 provinces, then this was it. This was the real 9 gods' ancient Su formation. It absorbed martial god Qilin's lightning energy and the power of the barrier to form a real god. In an instant, 2 thunder gods appeared in the broken god-slaying palace. Endless lightning ripples spread out. If one looked closely, the 2 thunder gods' power was actually the same. Son of Demon. At this moment, young Master Yao and the others were undoubtedly excited. This was the God-Slaying Alliance's last God-Slaying Alliance. He's God-Slaying Array Formation and Qilin Martial God-Slaying God Qilin. Ye Shui's beautiful eyes scanned the surroundings. She realized that countless enchantments had appeared around the broken palace. These enchantments were strange and strange. They were like powerful shields that supported Lin Ling's entire body. Martial God Qilin, the mysterious power enveloped his entire body, making Lin Ling feel that he had to vent it out. He roared at the sky and stomped his feet heavily on the ground. Bang! With this kick, Yu province was split open, and ferocious lightning shot out in all directions. Lin Ling pounced forward, and as he got closer and closer to Martial God Qilin, his body began to expand, from 100 meters to 1,000 meters, like a giant. Impossible. Impossible. It's impossible for a half-Saint Realm Junior to possess the power of a god, even with the help of external forces. Martial God Qilin kept shaking his head. Everything that was happening in front of him was beyond his understanding. But when the thunderstorm came, he had no choice but to fight. Furthermore, he also wanted to see if the creation of a god through the use of spirit power was as powerful as he imagined it to be. Crackle. Martial God Qilin also grew in size. His head reached the sky while his feet stomped on the ground. His divine energy roared as the 2 lightning energies collided fiercely. Boom! Boom! The moment they collided, Yuzhou felt as if the heavens and earth were falling apart. Countless houses collapsed, shocking everyone in Yuzhou. In the next moment, a giant staggered backward, crushing the ground of Yuzhou. He cried out in surprise, "How can you be so strong?" When they saw the giant, everyone's expression changed greatly. It was Martial God Qilin. As for the members of the God Slayer Alliance, they were overjoyed and stood in place excitedly. Martial God Qilin, your end has come. Lin Ling, who had turned into a giant thunder giant, stared coldly at Martial God Qilin with scorching eyes. It was as if he was going to settle the hatred of 2 lifetimes today. He had been waiting for this day for a long time. He was extremely unwilling to let Martial God Qilin escape last time. This time, he had made a comeback and was fully prepared to kill Martial God Qilin. Rumble. He punched out again, and thunder roared. If one looked closely, they would see a large number of spirit barriers floating behind him, and those spirit barriers were still burning. Obviously, the ancient formation of the 9 gods had a time limit. Its power came from the various spirit barriers and martial god Qilin's original lightning energy, and it could only last for 3 incense sticks worth of time. In short, it was duplicating martial god Qilin's power. Therefore, Lin Ling had to kill martial god Qilin within the time limit. Bang! Lin Ling took another step forward and approached martial god Qilin. Rumble! Martial god Qilin was suppressed by a powerful force. His face was filled with astonishment, and his eyes were filled with fear. As a matter of fact, when he saw Lin Ling, he had a feeling that this mysterious kid had the strength to kill him. Although this idea was somewhat dreamy and unrealistic, it was a fact that it truly existed. Perhaps the only person in the land of the 9 prefectures who had the strength to kill a martial god was the son of the demon. The members of the God Slayer Alliance became even more excited when they saw martial god Qilin being suppressed by the son of the demon. Judging from the situation, they knew martial god Qilin was going to die at this rate. Pop 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 pop. Rumble rumble rumble. The deafening noises were getting more and more terrifying. Martial god Qilin kept being knocked down, as if he had met his nemesis. Most terrifyingly, not only was the son of the demon powerful, he could even suppress all of martial god Qilin's moves. It was as if the son of the demon knew everything about martial god Qilin. Who the hell are you? Finally, martial god Qilin let out a roar that shook the heavens. I, martial god Qilin, have been practicing martial arts for my entire life. I have ascended from mortal to immortal, then to God. My bones are as tough as steel, and I can command the winds and clouds. You, a nameless kid, want to kill a martial god? Everything in the universe is predestined. You alone can't reverse the situation and kill a supreme god. Martial god Qilin kept retreating, vomiting blood. When the blood fell to the ground, it corroded the earth. It was divine blood. Lin Ling remained silent. He gathered all of his spirit power into his left hand. A dragon's roar was heard, and the dragon bow appeared. The dragon bow was covered in lightning energy, and it had turned into a lightning dragon. Lin Ling stared at martial god Qilin with sharp eyes. The time limit of 3 incense sticks was up. He was going to kill martial god Qilin with the final arrow. Chapter 32:20. A compass that devours everything. Tian Yanlin, I'm back. An oppressive aura shrouded the sky above Yuzhou. The power of lightning and the power of the dragon god reached the chaotic universe from Yuzhou. Whoosh! 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 Thunderbolts crashed down, and the sky shattered like glass. As for Yu State, it directly cracked apart. If there was a god, this was the power of a god. You! Martial god Qilin's expression changed. He realized that the swords were the true inheritance dark swords and the son of the demon had mastered them. He guessed that the son of the demon had only managed to control the swords once with the help of the Great Barrier Formation. However, to be able to control the true inheritance dark swords. He suddenly recalled the son of the demon's words. I'm back. He instantly lost the ability to fight back. His heart was pounding. It was the first time in tens of thousands of years that his heart was pounding so violently. Due to his various guesses, he vaguely saw a familiar figure among the blue-robed figure in the distance. It was a figure that he would never forget even in his dreams. If it weren't for the 3 of them from the Tian family, the real god in the land of the 9 prefectures would have been that man. Thinking about it, that person had distributed his potential to the 3 of them, and all 3 of them had become gods. If all the potential was still on that person, how terrifying would that person's height be? You're back. I knew you would come back one day. Martial god Qilin had forgotten about the arrow that was supposed to kill him. Instead, he stared at Lin Ling in fear. The members of the God Extermination Alliance gasped when they saw this. Who was the son of the demon? Even a god was afraid of him. Tian Yanlin, rest in peace." However, Lin Ling stood coldly in the sky with his hands behind his back. He was like a god who ruled over the fate of martial god Qilin. Rumble. The 18 true inheritance dark swords shot toward martial god Qilin with the power of lightning and the boundless barrier. Pop. 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 The 18 true inheritance dark swords landed on 18 spots on martial god Qilin's body and pierced him into the ground. "You're back." However, martial god Qilin roared as if he didn't feel pain. Perhaps to him, his return was more frightening than anything else. The ground continued to tremble as the destructive aura lingered in the air. Meanwhile, martial god Qilin's aura gradually weakened. His eyes seemed to have returned to the past. Perhaps, when a person was about to die, the regrets of his life would also surge into his mind. At that time, he, his son, and his daughter were living happily in a peaceful valley. But one day, Li Xiaoyao came. Moreover, it changed their lives, giving them a vast world, allowing them to indulge in it and enjoy the exhilarating feeling of dominating over tens of thousands of creatures. This also caused his daughter to change, and his son to change as well. They had become unreasonable. They only wanted to become stronger. Nothing in the world could move them, unless they were strong enough. Strength did indeed give them endless pleasure, but it also made them lose a lot of things. For example, kinship. Bang! At the same time, Lin Ling appeared beside martial god Qilin and looked down at him. Martial god Qilin stared at Lin Ling. "I'm back." Lin Ling said calmly as he looked at martial god Qilin. "I knew you'd come back one day, Xiaoyao." Martial god Qilin said weakly. "Yes, no matter how I transmigrated in the reincarnation cycle, sooner or later, Li Xiaoyao, will come back. I came back not to prove anything, nor to dominate the world, but to tell you all that I lost in the past. Today, I will take it back with my own hands." Lin Ling said coldly. Then, he slammed his right hand on martial god Qilin's chest. A terrifying suction force gushed out and absorbed martial god Qilin's selfless thunder god flesh. "You're the first. Next, Tianwen Valley, Tianlioli will be the second." A moment later, a bloody ball the size of a stone mill appeared on Lin Ling's palm. The ball was surrounded by lightning, making it look extraordinary. "Goodbye." Lin Ling turned around and left without looking at martial god Qilin. Martial god Qilin grew weaker. He could not even speak. All he could do was watch Li Tianlan's back as he left. He knew that even though he was a god, Li Xiaoyao had hundreds of ways to kill them. After all, Li Tianlan was a man who had the potential to surpass a god. Is he back? Is everything going back to normal? Will we return to that small valley? Martial god Qilin murmured and slowly closed his eyes. His soul and his thoughts seemed to have returned to the peaceful valley thousands of years ago, the place where his dream began. Seeing martial god Qilin fall, all the members of the God Slayer Alliance were stunned. Then, they started to feel excited. Then, with a plop, they knelt down one after another. They looked at the sky as if they were looking at their friends and family who had died at the hands of the heavenly court. Plop. They kowtowed to the sky. Their life's mission to slay the gods had finally come to an end. Leave now. However, before they could express their gratitude, Lin Ling had already looked at the sky. That was because he sensed the aura of Tianwen Valley approaching from afar. Another martial god is here. Follow the plan and leave immediately. Lin Ling roared and shot toward Sakura. He took Xiao Yu and rushed toward the escape route that they had arranged beforehand. The others also reacted. They could not care less about the excitement in their hearts and started to escape. They had already sensed that martial god Qilin's death would cause chaos in Jojo. Rumble. Almost at the same time, a huge compass appeared in the chaotic universe. The compass was so big that it occupied the entire sky of Yuzhou. It was terrifying. The compass was filled with nebulas. It rotated slowly as if it was turning on the wheel of fate. On the ground, some of the God Slayer Alliance members were too slow to escape. They were sucked into the compass and disappeared. "Save me!" They cried out in pain, but it was useless. The god's compass was even more terrifying than martial god Qilin. After everyone was sucked into the compass, they turned into nothingness. At the same time, a majestic voice came from the sky. "Young master monster, Ye Shui, Majin Tianzi, son of demon." The most terrifying thing was that after devouring those people, the newcomer knew everything about the God Slayer Alliance, including information about Lin Ling and the others. "Run! Run!" At this moment, Lin Ling had already reached the entrance of the secret passage. He looked back and immediately shouted anxiously. Young Master Monster and the others appeared in another secret passage. Their expressions changed drastically. Rumble. Behind them, the suction force of the compass arrived and sucked the ground of Yuzhou into the sky. Countless martial artists were also sucked into it. Chapter 32-21. Escape. As soon as they entered the secret passage, they realized that everything behind them started to disintegrate and distort. Even the void was being sucked into the compass. This kind of power was truly terrifying. Even you state would be sucked into it. "Senior, please be merciful." "Senior." In you state, an anxious voice suddenly rang out. It was Emperor Yu who had rushed back from Yen State. However, his pleading voice was of no use. The compass in the sky was cold and merciless. It was as if it was going to turn everyone into nothingness. Emperor Yu could not control himself and was sucked into the compass. His expression changed drastically and he quickly activated his ancient power. However, what made his scalp go numb was that the compass was so terrifying that it was not even afraid of the ancient power. All the power was sucked into the compass and turned into nothingness. Emperor Yu had died. Moreover, his death was extremely tragic because he did not know what had happened. The power of the compass passed through the secret passage and continued to pursue Lin Ling and the others. As a result, the people of the God Extermination Alliance were killed one after another. Realizing this, young Beast Lord and the others felt helpless because they could not fight against it. Moreover, they had gotten their revenge today. Those who died were willing to die. Second brother, what is this thing? It's simply heaven-defying. In the void passageway, Sakura said with trepidation. At this moment, he finally witnessed the power of a god. Heaven-seeking compass. Lin Ling said with a solemn face. He did not expect Tianwen Valley to have reached such a level of strength. They were obviously much stronger than martial god Qilin. Hurry up. After passing through the passage, we will be able to reach another place. Then, Lin Ling exhorted again. He held Xiaoyu's hand and quickly rushed forward. Rumble. The void behind them was constantly shattering. Its power was as strong as the realm-devouring beast. At this moment, Lin Ling did not know how young Beast Lord and the others were doing. The only thing he could do was to take care of himself. However, he had a feeling that Tianwen Valley would target him because they knew that martial god Qilin was killed by him. Tianwen Valley must be very curious about him. Boom! In the end, Lin Ling and the others rushed out of the spirit formation passage. When they reappeared, they were already in the void of the universe. Moreover, they didn't know where this place belonged to. I've finally escaped. Sakura heaved a sigh of relief and looked into the distance. Only then did he realize that there were still a few people from the God Extermination Alliance. When they saw Lin Ling, they all smiled. However, Lin Ling suddenly frowned. Not yet. Once those words left his mouth, a terrifying suction force was born from the void that they had charged out from. It was actually trying to pull them back to the compass through the spirit formation channel. Fuck. Traversing the void to chase after me? That's too awesome. Seeing this, Sakra's face changed greatly. Things are getting troublesome. Lin Ling sensed that the suction force from the compasses were like countless tentacles that wrapped around his body, pulling him toward the spirit formation passage. Against this kind of divine power, Lin Ling's methods were all useless. If he was pulled back to the compass, the result could be imagined. Second brother, what should we do? Sakra was also being pulled by the suction force. He let out an anxious voice. The others also looked at Lin Ling and shouted, "Son of demon, think of something." Hearing this, Lin Ling smiled bitterly. In terms of cultivation realm, he was the lowest among those present. How could he have any ideas? Previously, he was able to kill a god because of the power of the great divine array. Moreover, that array was set up for a long time. That was why it had such power. And now, Lin Ling could be said to be powerless to resist. This also let him know that in the chaos of the universe, the great divine array and other things were just external objects. The true power was still one's own body. It seems that we can't escape this calamity. In the end, Lin Ling sighed and said. Hearing this, everyone's faces dimmed. However, they soon smiled proudly. Enough, enough. Although we're going to die in the compass, at least we've dragged a god down with us. That's enough. That's right. Ha ha ha, we've got our revenge. Since they couldn't escape, they faced it with ease. Second brother, we've profited. Even Di Shi Tian wanted to see it thoroughly. Perhaps, in the face of the power of a god, he also knew that any resistance was useless. However, how could Lin Ling be willing? There were still two of his enemies who hadn't died yet. He reincarnated. Was he going to die in the hands of his enemies? He was not willing at all. Unfortunately, it was useless. Instead, they were getting closer and closer to the passage. The terrifying thing was that the passage had already collapsed. However, because of the suction force of the compass, the passage didn't completely disappear. Brother, are we going to die? Xiao Yu was also being pulled by the suction force. Her little face was full of worry. Xiao Yu, I'm sorry. I promised your grandfather to protect you, but in the end, because of brother, I implicated you. Looking at the cute Xiao Yu, Lin Ling's eyes were full of guilt. Brother, we won't die. Xiao Yu gritted her teeth and seemed to have made a decision. She silently chanted something and on her bright forehead, the mark of wind and rain appeared. Her little mouth moved slightly and let out a weak voice, "Call the wind." It could be seen that she seemed to be urging some kind of power. Moreover, this kind of power was extremely difficult for Xiao Yu. Whoosh! Under her voice, there was a sudden change. In the chaos of the universe, the divine wind whistled, causing the myriad of worlds to shake. This unforeseen event caused Lin Ling and the others' faces to change greatly. Summon the rain. Xiao Yu spoke again. Rumble. There was rain, as if it came from the era of the gods, suppressing the universe. Under the torrential rain, the suction force of the compasses was actually destroyed, allowing Lin Ling and the others to finally break free. Damn, second brother, where did this kid come from? Seeing that terrifying scene, Di Shi Tian was scared silly. Lin Ling smiled bitterly. He didn't expect Xiao Yu to have such power because he clearly sensed that the power was the same as martial god Qilin in Tianwen Valley. It seemed to be a kind of divine power. Brother, I want to sleep. However, the divine wind and rain came quickly and disappeared quickly. After a while, Xiao Yu let out a weak voice. Xiao Yu, thank you. Lin Ling hurriedly carried Xiao Yu on his back and left anxiously with the little white rabbit, Xiaolu, and the others. The others also felt as if they had just survived a disaster and quickly followed Lin Ling. Looking at the crystal channel that was destroyed by the divine rain, there was a suction force that was like the tentacles of an octopus. It could be said that it had revived. If they were pulled by the suction force again, the consequences would be unimaginable. Moreover, Lin Ling couldn't guarantee that Tianwen Valley would come. If he came, with the people on his side, there was no doubt that they would die. Lin Ling. Over here. However, at this moment, a familiar voice came from the void in front of them. A large number of people carrying tombstones appeared, led by Meng Lu. Young Master. Chapter 32-22. Escape back to Qingzhou. When they saw Lin Ling, they were all overjoyed. However, when they saw the mysterious power behind them, they knew they had to leave immediately. What happened? Meng Lu asked first. There's no time to explain. Let's leave this place first. I'll be in charge of opening the exit. Lin Ling stared at the spirit formation passageway and discovered that the suction force had reignited. He immediately activated the spacetime divine steel and ordered Meng Lu and the others to attack the broken spirit formation passageway. Rumble. Everyone knew the urgency of the matter. They hurriedly followed Lin Ling's instructions and used their martial arts to attack the spirit formation passageway. With everyone's attacks, the spirit formation passageway continued to shatter, causing the tentacle-like suction force to struggle. All right. After a short while, Lin Ling looked at the crowd. A huge stone stele sat before him. The stone stele opened an ancient door that seemed to lead to another world. That was another effect of the spacetime divine stele. As long as a corresponding spirit formation was set up at a certain location, one could reach that location through the spacetime divine stele. Of course, activating the spacetime divine stele required some time. That was why Lin Ling ordered Meng Lu and the others to attack the spirit formation passageway. After that, the crowd entered the spacetime divine stele one after another. Rumble. The door of the spacetime divine stele quietly closed. At the same time, the spacetime divine stele became illusory and disappeared without a trace. After the crowd left, the terrifying suction force surged out from the broken spirit formation passageway again. However, it did not discover Lin Ling and the others and could only retreat. Damn it! In the sky above Yuzhou, the huge compass let out a furious voice. He had actually allowed the demon sun and the others to escape. I don't care who you are. Even if I have to search the entire 9 provinces, I'll find all of you. The compass let out a majestic voice. It was the voice of the Tianwen Valley. Although he was the son of martial god Qilin, their father and son relationship had been strained all these years. It was all because of their interests. But no matter what, they were still father and son, so this enmity was absolutely irreconcilable. Almost at the same time, in the distant horizon, a woman was frowning. She was extremely beautiful and agile, but if one looked into her eyes, they would discover that there was a valiant and domineering aura in her eyes. And she was Luli Empress. Father is dead. Luli Empress mumbled to herself. She reached out her hand as if to touch the chaos around her. Then, she suddenly laughed bitterly. I don't know why, but I don't feel the slightest bit of sadness. She shook her head helplessly. To her, martial god Qilin's death was no different from someone being killed in the shadows. It was a disgrace to her. As for the father-daughter relationship, she really couldn't sense it. God-Slayer Alliance. Who are these people? Young Master Yao, Ye Shui, son of the devil, Prince of Gold, Yi Linyun. She kept mumbling to herself, and her gaze finally landed on the son of devil. He has the god-slaying array. What a mysterious guy, but I will find you. The news of martial god Qilin's death spread like a snowball throughout the land of the 9 prefectures. Everyone was shocked. The 10 great martial gods of the land of the 9 prefectures were invincible in everyone's hearts. But now, even a god had fallen. Without a doubt, the God-Slayer Alliance's name had spread throughout the land of the 9 prefectures. Everyone was curious about who this group of hot-blooded young men were. How terrifying. Even a god has fallen. I wonder if the God-Slayer Alliance still exists and if they are recruiting. Even I want to join them. It's not just the God-Slayer Alliance, it's the Miracle Alliance. If I can find them, I will join them. God-Slayer Alliance, God-Slayer Alliance. I heard that even Emperor Yu of the Yu Prefecture has fallen. This is a big event in the land of the 9 prefectures. In every corner of the land of the 9 prefectures, countless cultivators were talking excitedly. At this moment, in the land of the 9 prefectures, the void cracked open, and then a large number of figures walked out. Who is it? These people appeared in a green mountain. When they walked out, someone immediately shouted angrily. It's me. Among the people who walked out, one of them said with a smile. The people who were on guard were stunned, and then they all laughed in surprise. Because this was the place where the third princess lived, everyone was extremely cautious. However, the person who had returned was Lin Ling. Lord Lin Ling, I will inform the third princess. Someone immediately ran out. Lin Ling and the others finally heaved a sigh of relief. We've returned to the land of the 9 prefectures. From the vicinity of the land of the 9 prefectures, we finally arrived here. This time, that god shouldn't be able to catch up with us. Sakura sat on the ground with a thump. When he thought of what had happened, he felt as if he had just survived a disaster. The others felt the same way. Especially Meng Lu and the others, they still did not know what had happened. Lin Ling, the person who made you run away in a panic should not be weak. Could it be a martial ancestor? Meng Lu finally asked curiously. He knew Lin Ling's strength. Even a first heaven sage was no match for this guy. Therefore, in terms of hunting, it must be a martial ancestor. Martial ancestor. Is he qualified to make us run away in a panic? Before Lin Ling could speak, Sakura, who was sitting on the ground, immediately uttered a disdainful sound. Sakura, what do you mean by that? Meng Lu's expression changed slightly. Let me tell you, we're being hunted by a god. Sakura glanced at Meng Lu with pride in his eyes. God? Are you kidding me? Before Meng Lu could speak, the people behind him who were carrying the tombstones exclaimed. Furthermore, they stared at Lin Ling and the others in a strange manner, assuming that Lin Ling and the others were bragging. How impressive is a god? Little brother Meng Lu, if I tell you another piece of news, I'm afraid your jaw will drop. Sakura chuckled and said once again. His words caused the faces of the people behind Meng Lu to turn unpleasant. This guy is too full of himself. He dares to call their young master his little brother. One had to know that they were from the 9 continents' 10 evils. However, Meng Lu was not bothered. He had trained with Sakura for many years, thus they had established a strong relationship. Most importantly, although he had a formidable background, he knew that Lin Ling and the others were not ordinary people either. He said with a smile, Brother Tian, why don't you tell me? Let me see if my jaw will drop. His words left the people of the Tomb Watchers dumbfounded. Since you're so obedient, I'll tell you. We've eliminated a god. Sakura said in a mysterious manner. Ha! Hearing this, the people of the Tomb Watchers could not help but burst out laughing. This guy is too good at bragging. Meanwhile, Meng Lu's eyes shuddered. Based on his understanding of Sakura, he knew that Sakura would not brag about such matters. Lin Ling, is that true? However, he still wanted to get Lin Ling's affirmation. At this moment, Lin Ling was looking at Xiao Yu with a worried expression. However, when he saw that Xiao Yu was only sleeping, he finally let out a sigh of relief. He looked at Meng Lu. They were all after images. Chapter 32-23. Discuss. It's true. Lin Ling nodded. Fuck. Oh my god. At the same time, Dream Flow and Do Afterimage's jaws dropped to the ground. However, the Gravekeepers didn't believe it. God slaying? If he wasn't even at the Sage Realm, it was still possible for him to kill a cockroach. Master, are you implying that Martial God Qilin was killed because of you? At this moment, a cry of surprise rang out. The third princess walked over quickly with Grandma Wendao. What did you say? Martial God Qilin was killed. The Gravekeeper's expression changed. That's right. The news has already spread throughout the 9 provinces. I heard that a mysterious God-Slayer alliance joined forces to destroy the gods, creating a miracle and shocking the 9 provinces. The third princess said with a solemn face. Pa pa pa. At this moment, the jaws of the Gravekeeper tribe dropped to the ground. When they saw young Master Meng Lu's expression, they gradually began to believe him. But how could a half-saint slay a god? Just the thought of it was terrifying. Lin Ling and Sakra's complexion changed. They didn't expect the news to spread so quickly. Master, this is no small matter. Don't leave Qin province during this period of time because there will definitely be a lot of people looking for you. The third princess looked at Lin Ling and said. Lin Ling nodded. He also had the same idea. However, he also warned, don't tell anyone about this. Otherwise, you will be consigned to eternal damnation. Of course we know. The third princess nodded, but then she looked at the people behind Meng Lu. Meng Lu said coldly, if news of this gets out, you will all become sinners of the Gravekeeper clan. Do you understand? I know. The Gravekeepers nodded solemnly. Next, Lin Ling hid in Qingzhou and temporarily avoided the limelight. Furthermore, he was also worried about the young demon master and the others. However, when he thought about the young demon master and the others' backgrounds, Lin Ling couldn't be bothered to worry about them. None of the members of the God Slayer Alliance were pushovers. As long as they could escape, they would be like birds flying in the sky. It would undoubtedly be very difficult to catch them. And in the days of seclusion, Lin Ling's friends from Qingzhou also came one after another. Falling Flowers, Flowing Water Sword, Tang Yue, Huang Fuidao, and so on. However, they did not know that Lin Ling was one of the gods of destruction. Therefore, after a lively conversation, they also talked about the gods of destruction. Moreover, the more he spoke, the more excited he became. It was as if he really wanted to join the God Slayer Alliance. Seeing this, Lin Ling, Sakra, and the others all smiled bitterly. Destroying a god might seem awe-inspiring, but it was like walking on a tightrope over a cliff. They had almost been destroyed by a god. However, in order not to implicate them, Lin Ling did not intend to tell them such a big matter. During this process, Xiaoyu had also woken up. She was biting her little hand. When she saw Lin Ling, she immediately became happy and once again clung on to Lin Ling. Towards this little girl, Lin Ling was also very grateful. Xiaoyu had saved his life twice. Little you, let's go. I'll take you to see Grandpa. After kissing Xiaoyu, Lin Ling activated the spacetime divine steel and entered the flame world fragment. Moreover, he used the spacetime divine steel to secretly return to spirit state and bring Yu and the others back. Of course, when he met Xingxiu Yun and the others, he also told them the whole story. In fact, Xingxiu Yun and the others knew where Lin Ling went. Therefore, when the news of martial god Qilin's death spread, they also knew that it was Lin Ling's doing. Without any suspense, their jaws dropped to the ground. They did not expect Lin Ling to succeed. Grandfather. Mother. Arriving at the flame world fragment, Lin Ling was the first to call out. When the evil flame sect saw Lin Ling, everyone knelt down and shouted in unison, Sect Master. Lin Ling waved slightly at them. His gaze was already fixed on a white-haired elder. That elder was Ancestor Extreme Flame. At this moment, his face was also filled with excitement. Grandfather. Yu, Xian Yuan Gu, and the others also shouted and pounced towards Lin Ling's mother, Mo Nianchen. The whole family was in a joyous and harmonious mood. Sakura, Meng Lu, and the others were the same. They were undoubtedly very happy to see Ancestor Extreme Flame and the others again. In the following time, Lin Ling also stayed in the Flame World Fragment and chatted with his family. It was extremely peaceful. During this time, Xiaoyu also became familiar with Ancestor Extreme Flame and the others. She finally stopped pestering Lin Ling. Lin Ling also used his free time to teach Lin Yi martial arts. At the same time, he taught many martial arts to the Evil Flame sect, greatly increasing the strength of this sect. Now, in the Flame World Fragment, Lin Ling could be called the master of a world. Blood of God. Night fell. Lin Ling cultivated for a while. With a wave of his hand, martial god Qilan's blood of God appeared. If I devour this blood of God, my strength will definitely increase greatly. However, it is better to use this blood of God to refine my body. Lin Ling already had a plan. However, he did not dare to refine it and sealed it. Because he was afraid that martial god Wen Tian would use the blood of God to find his whereabouts. Currently, Lin Ling was poor. All his cultivation resources were used to set up formations. Therefore, his cultivation realm could not increase in a short period of time. Master, not good. On this day, the third princess transmitted her voice to Lin Ling. Her voice was filled with anxiety. A lot of mysterious people have appeared in Qing province today. I think they are here for you. Hearing the transmission, Lin Ling's expression changed. They found him so quickly. At the same time, a voice sounded out, "Son of the demon, it's best if you leave your hometown immediately. With the martial god's strength, it won't be difficult for him to find your hometown. Moreover, I'm guessing that there are many outsiders in the spirit province right now." The transmission came from Yi Shui. As expected of the top 10 martial gods. Hearing this, Lin Ling's expression became more serious. You don't have to worry about the martial gods attacking your hometown, because the 10 great martial gods of the 9 prefectures still care about their reputation. Moreover, everyone knows that the God-slaying alliance is challenging the heavenly court. If martial god Wen Tian can't catch us and instead attacks our hometown, others will feel ashamed of him. Yes. Therefore, martial god Wen Tian's target is only the god-slaying alliance. Yes. Therefore, you must leave immediately. Let me give you a reminder. Go to the Yan province. There are other martial gods there. Martial god Wen Tian cannot cover the sky with one hand. Yes. Thank you for the news. I will prepare to leave in a few days. Yes. Lin Ling's eyes flashed. He told the news to his family and friends. Everyone gathered at the fragment of the flame world to discuss. Go to the Yan province? Yes. After Dou Kenning heard the news, he frowned slightly. The Yan province is not a place where ordinary people can go. Those who go must have a certain status. How about this? Let young master enter the Yan province in the name of the Flying Dragon organization. However, only young master can enter. Yes. Alone? Yes. Lin Ling shook his head decisively. Sakura had to come with him. Therefore, the Flying Dragon organization's name was useless. How about we inform the Fu Xing Manor? How about using their name? Yes. Chapter 32-24. Stay away from the limelight. That's not good either. Although Sunset Shine is from Fu Xing Manor, it doesn't mean that they will side with us. If they betray us at the critical moment, we will be in trouble. Lin Ling shook his head again. For a moment, everyone became even more worried. The power of the martial god was too great. With their current strength, they were not strong enough to fight against him. Why don't we go to my place? Meng Lu suddenly said, but Lin Ling still shook his head. Although the Tomb Guardian tribe is wandering around the universe, if martial god Wen Tian finds out where we are, it will bring trouble to the Tomb Guardian tribe. Lin Ling knew that the 9 prefectures' 10 evils were ranked in the 3rd tier, while the 9 prefectures' 10 great martial gods were ranked in the 4th tier. They were obviously stronger. Perhaps the Tomb Guardian tribe was not afraid of martial god Wen Tian, but if they fought against him, the Tomb Guardian tribe would suffer great losses. Therefore, Lin Ling could not bring himself to drag his friends down. We can't do this, we can't do that. Do we have to wait for death here? Sakura walked back and forth with his hands behind his back. Where are young Monster Lord and the others hiding? Why aren't they afraid of being hunted down? Also, they are too disloyal. They are hiding themselves, but we have to bear the martial god's pursuit. Big brother, don't blame them. They might not be better than us. I think they are hiding in Yen State or Miao State. Lin Ling shook his head and smiled. Good disciple, do you want to go to Yen State? Just as everyone was at their wits' end, a voice transmission was heard. It was Xing Xian's voice. Yes, master. Do you have a way? Lin Ling's eyes lit up. Sigh, if that's the case, why don't we go to Yen State's Grand Simplicity Nebula sect? I am a disciple of this sect, and my master is also the sect leader. However, he has always refused to acknowledge me. I hope this time, he will give us a way out. A sigh came from the other side of the voice transmission. Master, will this make things difficult for you? Lin Ling frowned. No, it's just that I am too embarrassed to meet him. Because he values me very much, but I have disappointed him. How about this, you wait for a while. After a long time, a surprised voice was heard, my dear disciple, he has agreed. However, it doesn't mean that you can go to the Great Change Nebula sect unless you pass the assessment. This is the only thing I can do. Thank you, master. Lin Ling was overjoyed. They had found a place to hide. It was the Yen State's Grand Simplicity Nebula sect. Old Do, are you familiar with the Grand Change Nebula sect? Lin Ling asked Do Afterimage. In the Yen State, there are many powerful warriors left behind from the deity era. The Grand Change Nebula sect is one of them. Although it is not the strongest sect in the Yen State, it is quite famous. In the 9 regions, it is like a god. As a 13 kills expert, Do Kenning had naturally roamed the 9 prefectures. That's good. How about you come with us? With my status, this is not difficult. After getting Do Kenying's consent, Lin Ling was overjoyed. Then, he sighed with emotion. In the past, when Li Xiaoyao had roamed the 9 regions, there were no such rules. Of course, there may have been, but Li Xiaoyao was too strong in the past. Entering the Yen State was like entering his backyard, so he did not know about these rules. Lin Ling, I'll go with you. Brother, I'll go too. Meng Lu and Xiao Yu spoke almost at the same time. Meng Lu, you're going too? Lin Ling was a little surprised. Of course. Meng Lu nodded as if it was a matter of course. You know, when you killed the deity in the spirit state, I missed it. I regretted it so much. Later, when I returned to the tribe, I learned that you went to the ancient forbidden forest and even killed the deity. I missed such a big event again, so I can't miss what is going to happen next. Anyway, there will never be a small matter by your side, and it will never be boring. Hearing this, Lin Ling was speechless. Sakura laughed out loud and agreed with Meng Lu going with them. Since that's the case, there's no time to lose. Let's go to the spirit state immediately and ask Master for help. Lin Ling activated the time and space divine steel, said goodbye to his family, and left immediately. Yu Yu and the others also returned to the spirit state. Because if they disappeared, the martial god and other experts would come to the fragment of the flame world, and that would be troublesome. Moreover, although martial god Wen Tian said that he would not attack the hometown of the God Slayer Alliance, there was nothing wrong with being cautious. After a while, Lin Ling and the others returned to the spirit state. My good disciple, I've already arranged everything. Take these jade tokens and you can enter the Yen state. Xing Shiyun immediately said after seeing Lin Ling, thank you, master. Lin Ling nodded gratefully. Although Xing Shiyun had never taught him martial arts, he had always protected him like a master. Because of this, Lin Ling was willing to call him master. If master doesn't help me, who will help you? Hurry up and go. Come back after you've avoided this storm. Hearing Lin Ling's heartfelt words, Xing Shiyun couldn't help but smile. Master Tantric Buddhism and the others also smiled at Lin Ling with pride in their eyes. They didn't find Lin Ling and the others' escape shameful. After all, who in the 9 states could do that? Then I'll take my leave. Lin Ling bowed deeply to Xing Shiyun and led Di Shitian and the others on their journey. Using the time and space divine steel to appear in another void, Lin Ling and the others wore large cloaks to hide their appearances and headed towards the Yen state. At this moment, in the sky above Qing state and spirit state, a large number of experts were monitoring everything, but they didn't find anything strange. Martial God, I reckon that the son of the demon isn't in Qing state and spirit state. If he really wants to go in and out, he won't be able to escape our eyes. Where did he go? He should be hiding in the myriad worlds. Find him, we must find him. As Lin Ling was using the time and space divine steel, Wentian martial god's men couldn't detect Lin Ling's whereabouts at all. As for Lin Ling and the others, they didn't feel much pressure and were chatting and laughing along the way. Lin Ling carried Xiao Yu on his back and sang as he strode forward. Second brother, Xiao Yu is so powerful. She broke the god's attack last time. Di Shitian said as he drank his wine and teased Xiao Yu. Annoying. However, Xiao Yu didn't give him any face at all, causing Di Shitian to shake his head gloomily. Don't underestimate her. Her grandfather is very powerful. If he finds out that you bullied Xiao Yu, he'll skin you alive. Lin Ling said with a smile. I don't need you to remind me. I know that. Di Shitian became even more gloomy. He looked ahead and realized that in the void, there were quite a number of people heading towards the Yen state. What are you looking at? Di Shitian's gloomy gaze was instantly noticed by one of the young men and he immediately shouted angrily. The voice stunned Di Shitian. How could this person be so arrogant? Because he realized that the latter seemed to be at the same level as him. Ignore him. He's just a mad dog. If he bites you, are you going to bite him back? Chapter 32-25. Martial Uncle He. Are you afraid? Trash, trash. Do you know who he is? The silence of Lin Ling and the others caused the youth to shake his head in disdain. The people around him began to laugh. What a bunch of clowns. These youths were all half-sages. With their strength, they didn't even place Meng Lu in their eyes. Of course, he didn't care about their provocation. Brother Demon is still the best. Seeing Lin Ling and the others lower their heads, those fellows laughed even more wildly. Of course, Brother Demon is the son of Demon, the leader of the God-slaying alliance, the one who slayed God. In the current 9 provinces, who isn't afraid of him? One of them lightly said, his voice extremely loud. There were other martial artists hurrying through the void. After hearing this, their complexions changed and awe appeared in their eyes. Son of Demon. It was him again. The divine dreamland, the eternal forbidden forest, and finally the God-slaying alliance. The son of Demon was extremely famous in the 9 provinces. Even Lin Ling and the others' complexions changed. You are the son of demon. Sakura said in disbelief. You only know now. You have a pair of dog eyes. Let me tell you, he is the son of demon whose name shakes the 9 provinces. How about it? Are you afraid? Have your dog eyes gone blind? Hearing Sakura's words, those people puffed out their chests. As for the youth called son of demon, he looked up at the sky at a 75-degree angle. Lin Ling and the others. It's an honor to meet you. Finally, Sakura bowed to them. Not only did they not blame them, but they were also very happy. This was because a fake son of demon had appeared. This would make them even safer. Do you want an autograph? Hee, even if you want it, the son of demon won't give it to you. Let me tell you, the son of demon is going to the flame state, and he is going to the Grand Simplicity Nebula sect. The Grand Simplicity martial ancestor has personally said that he wants to take the son of demon as his disciple. The youth proudly said. After speaking, he puffed out his chest and strode forward. As soon as these words came out, Lin Ling and the others felt as if they had been struck by lightning. All of them stood there stupidly. Wait, you are going to the Yen state, and then to the Grand Change Nebula sect. Lin Ling couldn't help but open his mouth. Of course, it's time to recruit disciples over there. The son of the devil and the others didn't even look at Lin Ling and the others as they continued to proudly walk forward. There's no need to be jealous. Not everyone can enter the Yen province. Other than people like the son of the devil, you ordinary people can only look up. However, before they could finish their words, Lin Ling and the others had already pounced over, looking ferocious. Rumble. One by one, they burst out with powerful martial arts and beat up the fake devil's son and the others. I'll make you the son of devil, I'll make you the son of devil, I'll make you the son of devil, I'll make your whole family change your name. If you don't change your name, I'll beat you to death. Why did you have to go to the Yen state of all places? Do you want to get us killed? Scram, go to the myriad worlds, go back to your hometown. You can go anywhere, but not the Yen state. Are you going to scram or not? If you don't, I'll beat you until your father doesn't recognize you. Lin Ling and the others seemed to have gone berserk. Aya. Stop fighting, spare my life. With the strength of those people, they couldn't block Lin Ling and the others' attacks at all. All of them were beaten black and blue. This appearance undoubtedly scared the passers-by. Son of the devil. That's too fucking unbearable, like a piece of trash. Sirs, why did you hit us? The young man called the son of the devil was beaten the most fiercely. Half of his teeth had been knocked out. What made him most depressed was that he still didn't know why the other party had beaten him. After all, this group of people had been extremely respectful to them and even worshipped them. In the blink of an eye, they were like wolves baring their teeth. How could he know that if he, the fake son of the devil, went to the Yen state and the Grand Change Nebula sect, wouldn't that lead when Tian Martial God there? Lin Ling and the others had gone to the Yen state to avoid the limelight, and when Tian Martial God had also been lured there. How could they avoid the limelight? Therefore, this fake son of the devil had to be beaten up. Scram, don't go to the Yen state. Lin Ling shouted angrily. Big brother, hero, grandpa, don't hit us. Whatever you say is true. Then let's go, where are we going? Those people were even more confused after being beaten up. Anyway, you're not allowed to go to the Yen state. You can go anywhere else. Of course, you can go to the myriad realms, because there should be news of the son of the devil in the myriad realms. Go there, eat good food and drink, and there are beauties everywhere. Lin Ling's face was all smiles. That's right, with my reputation as the son of the devil, ordinary people will definitely worship me. We should go to the myriad realms. That's right, eat good food and drink, and there are beauties everywhere. Thank you for your reminder. Those young men's eyes lit up. Not only did they not resent Lin Ling and the others, but they were also grateful. Understood, then scram. Lin Ling scolded with a smile. Hero, farewell. If you encounter any trouble in the future, just say that you think I'm the son of the devil. This will definitely let you escape. The group of people ran away in high spirits. Lin Ling and the others shook their heads helplessly. They knew in their hearts that if martial god Wen Tian came looking for them, these people would probably be scapegoats. Let's go. After half a month, an ancient continent finally appeared in front of them. This continent was so vast that Lin Ling and the others had never seen it before. On the ground, strands of invisible air waves that seemed to be the power of gods floated into the sky from time to time. When they landed on the ground, Lin Ling and the others felt that the gravity of the earth was extremely strong. They were afraid that even if they used all their strength here, they would not be able to shake the earth. And this was the Yen state. An existence that surpassed the Yu state. It was also the place with the most gods and martial gods. Moreover, countless secrets from the era of gods were hidden here. In this place, even if a very ordinary martial artist suddenly wanted to jump off a cliff one day, he might be able to find a treasure at the bottom of the cliff, and from then on, reach the heavens in one step. Because, this was also a continent full of miracles. Are you Xing Xian's disciple? According to the Jade Token, Lin Ling's group spent another 10 days before they finally arrived at an ancient green mountain range. They had just landed when a voice was transmitted from the front. A middle-aged man walked over with a smile. His pace was not fast, but he appeared in front of Lin Ling's group in the blink of an eye. This person's strength was at the 5th level of the Saint Realm. He was also sizing up Lin Ling and the others. Are you martial uncle he? Lin Ling instantly smiled and asked. Xing Xian had reminded him that he would send his junior brother to pick him up. It should be this person in front of him. Yes, you should be senior brother Yun's disciples. Not bad, seedlings, follow me. Martial uncle he smiled with satisfaction and led Lin Ling and the others forward. Chapter 32-26. Silvermoon Mountain. However, this is the Yen state. There are many people who are stronger than your master. Don't be too arrogant. Even I'm only a small elder in the sect. In the next month, the Great Simplicity Nebula sect will be recruiting disciples. You must work hard to pass the 2 major tests. Only then can you become a member of the Great Simplicity Nebula sect. If you fail, even I can't help you. You can only leave the Yen province. Martial uncle he kept reminding him. Thank you for your reminder. We'll work hard. Lin Ling and Dream Flow looked at each other and nodded. Moving forward, 8 green mountains appeared in front of him. They were connected head to tail, as if a huge green dragon was sitting on the ground. In the sky above the green mountains, a bright moonlight hung there, sprinkling a cold light, making people feel very comfortable all over. We've reached Silvermoon Mountain. Martial uncle he smiled and led Lin Ling and the others forward. He Xingshan. Not long after, an old man led a few young men over from the mountain range ahead. These are? He asked with a smile before the old man even got close. He's senior brother Xing's disciple. Martial uncle he immediately explained. Senior brother Xing. Which senior brother? So it's Xing Xian. I haven't seen him since he left the Yen province. If you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have remembered. Sigh, Master has mentioned Senior Xing before. I didn't think that he would abandon himself and go to the Spirit Province. I'm afraid that Master has forgotten about this disciple. The old man frowned when he heard Master's words, but he didn't think that he would abandon himself and go to the Spirit Province. It could be seen that the sect leader of Grand Change Nebula sect had many disciples, and Xing Xian could only be considered average among them. The eyes of Lin Ling and the others flickered as they were curious about the strength of this martial progenitor. Even though Lin Ling had only killed a few martial progenitors with the help of the god-slaying formation, the martial progenitors from the era of the gods were definitely extraordinary. Of course, Lin Ling was only slightly curious. He wasn't really surprised. They are Xing Xian's disciples. Looks like Lao Xing knows his limits, so he placed his hopes on these few disciples. However, the strength of these few brats is also not strong. The old ancestor glanced at Lin Ling and the others, his words carried a trace of contempt. Seeing this, junior uncle he smiled and didn't say anything. On the other hand, the young men behind the old man were looking at Lin Ling and the others provocatively. They were obviously here to participate in the test as well. All of them were at the half-step saint realm. The weakest among them was at the 7th level of the half-step saint realm. There were even existences at the 9th level of the half-step saint realm. Furthermore, their talents all exceeded a 5th-grade desolate body. Perhaps, in the assessment of the Great Change Nebula sect, the lowest cultivation level would be at the 5th level of the half-saint realm and the talent of a 5th-grade wild body. No wonder those young men provoked Lin Ling's group. Obviously, they felt a strong sense of superiority in front of Lin Ling's group. This is Xia Lu from the evil warding Xia family. He is a good seedling. This is Huan Juesher from the great celestial demon mansion. He is the most talented among the seedlings that I recommended this year. After the old man smiled, he introduced the young man behind him. Although his tone was calm, it was filled with pride. He. Junior uncle he could only laugh dryly. The two of them walked together. From the spirit state. Small place. I am from the evil warding Xia family, which is famous in the 9 states. Along the way, the young men greeted each other. One of them looked at Lin Ling and the others and said. Lin Ling held Xiao Yu's hand and chatted with Meng Lu and the others. His face was calm and relaxed. This made the young men's faces turn ugly. One had to know that the geniuses who could come to the flame state all had strong backing. Lin Ling and the others were only from the spirit state. They were insignificant. How dare they ignore them? I think that you will have a hard time in this assessment. You might be chased away. Xia Lu from the evil warding Xia family said again. Evil warding Xia family? Lin Ling felt a sense of familiarity. If he wasn't mistaken, in the divine dreamland, he had also encountered people from this family. Thank you for your concern. If you don't pass the assessment, then that means we are only a so-so. When the time comes and you pass the assessment, we will cheer for you. That's right, that's right. You are a great person who doesn't care about the past offenses of lowly people like us. Please forgive us. Lin Ling and Sakura both spoke out. Their words caused the young men's jaws to drop open. This was because these people were all geniuses of the 9 states. They were all proud and arrogant. They had never seen someone like Lin Ling and the others, surrendering with just a few words. And this sort of humble attitude left them unable to refute for a while. Instead, there was a stifling feeling in their hearts. It was like they had punched cotton. It was like although Lin Ling and the others were flattering them, this sort of flattery didn't come from their hearts. Good luck. Dreamflow also spoke out. He followed Lin Ling as he strode forwards. Even Xiaoyu waved her fists at them. Damn, they are only at the 5th level of half-saints. Why do I feel like they are speaking to little children? I also have this feeling. But what makes me feel the most aggrieved is that I feel like a little child instead. Perhaps we have wronged them. They never had the heart to compete with us. These youths all had different opinions, but they all gradually stuck out their chests. As they walked, they felt as if they were floating. How could they know that Lin Ling truly didn't have the heart to compete with them? Although they might be powerful half-saints of the 9 states. But, Lin Ling was the son of the demon race. In addition, they had come here to avoid the limelight. Lin Ling didn't want to be in the limelight. Evil warding Xia family. Second brother, I remember now. Do you still remember that Tian Tian who was struck twice by us in the divine dreamland? As they walked forwards, Sakura suddenly said. Dreamflow and Lin Ling were stunned for a moment before they burst into laughter. Speaking of which, Tian Tian had also traveled with them. However, the second time they met, he was once again knocked unconscious by Lin Ling's large sword. At that time, Lin Ling felt a little guilty. He had planned to return the favor when they met again. I wonder if he came to the Grand Simplicity Nebula Sect's disciple recruitment this time. He is the nemesis of the ghost demons. However, the Yen state is so big. He shouldn't only appear in the Grand Simplicity Nebula Sect. I am curious about his strength. In the past, we were a little afraid of him and relied on those spirit talismans to crush him. Now, if we were to fight, I have 60% confidence that I can defeat him. Subsequently, Lin Ling and the other two spoke one after another. Dreamflow also glanced at Lin Ling. He had a feeling that Tian Tian was no match for Lin Ling. As for Martial Uncle when he saw Lin Ling and the others talking and laughing, he couldn't help but shake his head helplessly. Chapter 32-27. Goodbye, Xia Tianyi. Wow, isn't that Xia Tianyi from the evil warding Xia family? He's here too. As they continued forward, a commotion suddenly broke out in front of them. Looking around, it was actually filled with the geniuses of the 9 prefectures. The number of people was beyond imagination. Obviously, some of these young men had powerful backgrounds, and some of them were the juniors who were specially groomed by the big forces. They were recommended to join the Great Change Nebula sect. What surprised Lin Ling and the others was that Xia Tianyi really came. Is that Yi Ling Tian, the number 1 half-step saint stage genius in Yuzhou? It's him. His brother is the number 1 sage in Yuzhou, Yi Linyun. I didn't expect him to come too. There are so many geniuses today. The exclamations continued to ring out on Green Mountain. Yi Linyun. Lin Ling and Sakura looked at each other and couldn't help but laugh. It's that big brother. Even Xiao Yu smiled. In the God Slayer Alliance, apart from the 3 leaders, there was another person who had a good relationship with Lin Ling and the others. It was none other than Yuzhou's number 1 genius, Yi Linyun. He did not know where that guy was hiding now. Would he appear in the Grand Change Nebula sect? Young master, you know Yi Linyun? Do Afterimage asked curiously. I know him. He's also from the God Slayer Alliance. Tisk, TSK. The God Slayer Alliance has gathered all the powerful geniuses of the 9 prefectures. They are all hot-blooded youths. In my opinion, the half-saint realm geniuses present here are no match for the God Slayer Alliance. Hearing this, Do Kening couldn't help but praise. He was glad that Lin Ling was able to join the God-slaying alliance because this was also a type of affirmation. Yi Ling Tian, long time no see. Just as everyone was staring at Yi Ling Tian, a chuckle was heard. Then, lightning struck, turning into thunder and lightning under the Green Mountain. Finally, it formed a man in purple. This man had his hands behind his back and was extremely handsome. However, this wasn't just handsome, it was the aura of a brave man. This is. Could it be Zilong, the number 1 genius of the half-saint realm in the Yen state, who once lost to Sanzi? The power of purple lightning. That's right, it's him. After a brief moment of astonishment, the people's exclamations were like waves. I heard that this guy has the speed of 90 worlds. Who in the half-saint realm has the speed of 90 boundaries? Behind the young men were some guards and attendants. They were all at the saint realm, but at this moment, they all cried out in surprise. Unless one was a saint realm expert that was skilled in movement techniques, otherwise, even a saint realm expert would be inferior to that young man called Zilong. The desolate body is at least in the range of grade 8, or even stronger. Meng Lu stared at the young man calmly. He knew how powerful the young man was. Apart from second brother, it will be difficult for the rest of us to defeat him. The corner of Sakra's mouth revealed a trace of battle intent. Ever since Lin Ling gave him the Nether Dragon Companion liquid, his strength and talent had greatly increased, so he didn't fear the number 1 half-step saint stage genius of the Yen province. Lost to the triplets. Young master, in the divine dreamland, that triplet fellow was killed by me. Do Afterimage seemed to have thought of something and suddenly reminded him. Lin Ling nodded in realization. At that time, they were fighting for the boat of gods. Then, a young man appeared and attacked Lin Ling, but he was killed by Do Afterimage. If he remembered correctly, that was the number 1 half-step saint stage genius of the Yen province, the triplets, and Zilong was defeated by him. Zilong, if you have the ability, don't use that extreme weapon of yours. Let's see who's stronger. Yi Ling Tian, even if I don't use an extreme weapon, with my talent and strength, defeating you is as easy as flipping my hand. At this moment, the 2 number 1 geniuses of the divine prefecture were tit for tat. Hey, you guys seem to be ignoring me. Not to be outdone, Xia Tianyi said in a cold voice. The 2 geniuses of the divine prefecture had obviously heard of this person, so they didn't underestimate him. Perhaps among the half-step saints present today, he was the only one who could be taken seriously. Bixia Xia family, although you have some ability, if we really fight, you're not my match. Within 100 moves, who knows who will win and who will lose, but within 1,000 moves, you'll lose. Zilong said lightly, his words mixed with confidence. Within 1,000 moves, who knows who will win and who will lose. However, Xia Tianyi wasn't at a disadvantage at all. Whoosh! The 3 of them were undoubtedly the focus of attention, but soon, a strong wind blew. Then, a woman in a black dress stepped on the strong wind and appeared before everyone's eyes at the speed of 80 worlds. Although the speed of 80 worlds was slightly weaker than Zilong's, compared to the other youths, it was still far beyond them. So strong, who is this beauty? Yuru, the bloodline of the Dragon Clan. She's one of the few in the Dragon Clan who has a human form and the aura of a dragon. Moreover, she's a true disciple of Miao Shen. In the past, I saw her walking very close to Yeshua. Bloodline of the Dragon Clan. At present, apart from Yuru, there's also someone called Lomyang who has a human form and the aura of a dragon. She's also very powerful. It's not just the 2 of them. I heard that the son of the demon also has the aura of a dragon. The son of the demon doesn't count. He's a member of the God Slayer Alliance. He's someone we have to look up to. How can we compare to him? There was a lot of discussion. Lin Ling looked at Yuru curiously and said lightly, the aura of the Nether Dragon. Second brother, I've also noticed it. Sakra had also used the Nether Dragon's half-life liquid, so he naturally felt it too. At the same time, the black-robed woman also looked at Lin Ling's side. She seemed to have sensed something and immediately smiled at Lin Ling and Zilong. This smile shocked everyone. They all looked at Lin Ling's side and found that there was no outstanding person. Could it be an illusion? Even Zilong and Yilingtian's experts looked at Lin Ling but quickly shook their heads. It's you guys. On the contrary, Xia Tianyi recognized Lin Ling's group and walked over with a hearty laugh. I didn't expect to have a chance to see you guys again after we parted last time. After we parted last time, I wanted to look for you guys. Unfortunately, I was hit by a stick and fainted on the spot. Despicable son of the demon and son of bone, it's them. Xia Tianyi shouted as he walked. Lin Ling and the rest smiled bitterly. This guy still didn't know that they were the ones who hit him. However, when Xia Tianyi walked over like this, it caused many people to look over. This made Lin Ling and the rest somewhat unhappy. They were here to avoid the limelight and not to show off. With Xia Tianyi doing this, they had no choice but to show off. They hoped that no one would recognize them. But luckily, 9 regions was very big. Many people had heard of the son of the demon, but very few had seen him. Damn, speaking of the son of the demon, I'm filled with anger. Look at the bumps on my head. They haven't disappeared yet. There are 2 of them. That guy is really ruthless. Arriving in front of Lin Ling, Xia Tianyi showed the 2 bumps on his head. Sakura and the rest were tongue-tied. Lin Ling was speechless. Xia Tianyi, who are these guys? They aren't strong. You even know such ants. This doesn't seem to be your style. Chapter 32-28. Crystal Ball Test. They are my brothers in the Grand Change Nebula sect. Brother, protect them. Attacking them is the same as attacking me. Unexpectedly, Xia Tianyi walked out, patted his chest and said. Everyone's expression changed slightly. They were a little envious of Lin Ling and the others. This was because even though they had powerful escorts with them, their escorts were not allowed to enter the Great Change Nebula sect. Therefore, if they were humiliated in the sect, they could only rely on the people around them. Interesting. If I have the chance to meet them, I will teach them a lesson. Zilong suddenly smiled. Only they were not afraid of Xia Tianyi. How dare you? Xia Tian immediately roared. Dong dong dong. However, at this moment, the ancient bell rang. It was only one sound, but it echoed through the green mountains that were connected to each other. Endless echoes immediately appeared. There was a fairy in everyone's mind that seemed to have been electrocuted. Only Lin Ling, who had a strong defense, remained unmoved. However, he was slightly shocked and said, the power of rank. A bell has the power of rank. The Grand Change Nebula sect is stronger than I thought. At the same time, an old voice sounded, Dear Heavens of Jojo, thank you for choosing Grand Change Nebula sect. Let's begin the assessment. If you pass, you will become a citizen of Yen State. From now on, you can enter and leave Yen State at will. If you fail, you will have to leave and come back next year. Everyone was in high spirits. In fact, the purpose of these young geniuses coming to the Great Change Nebula sect was not only to attend the Martial Ancestors Forum discussion, but also to obtain the identity of the Yen province. Not just anyone could come to the Yen state. Experts like Afterimage could only stay for a short period of time, not including the people of this miracle continent. Talent test. Those with 5 rays of light pass. At the same time, a meteor shower fell from the sky and landed on the ground, turning into transparent glass balls. Lin Ling, hurry up and get the glazed balls. These glazed balls have to be handed over in an hour. Uncle Master he also walked over quickly and exhorted, this is a test of talent. Those without a desolate body will definitely encounter a powerful attack when holding the ball. As for those with a desolate body, the ball will acknowledge their existence. However, if they cannot make the glass ball emit 5 beams of light, they will also be eliminated. Hearing that, Lin Ling, Sakura, and the others hurried forward. In the Green Mountain, there was chaos as well. All the young men were fighting for the glazed balls. Get lost, I saw it first. What are you in such a hurry for? There are so many of these colored glass balls. Are you afraid there won't be any left? I like it. What can you do about it? It was related to whether or not they could become a citizen of the Yen state, so everyone was a little restless. Lin Ling and the others repeatedly tried to pick up the glazed balls, but they were all snatched away by others. In the end, Lin Ling and the others' expressions turned cold, and they decided to erupt with a portion of their strength. Get out of here. Someone immediately wanted to snatch the crystal ball that he had just taken a fancy to. Do you know what you're talking about? Lin Ling immediately looked over. The young man smiled disdainfully and turned back to look at Lin Ling. However, the next moment, his forehead was covered in cold sweat. In Lin Ling's eyes, he saw a terrifying scene. It was as if the heavens and earth were collapsing. There was the illusion god, the dragon god, and the four ferocious creatures. Here. The young man retreated. As for Lin Ling, he retracted his gaze and picked up a few glazed balls. He handed them to Sakura and the others and then left the crowd. At this moment, at the edge of the Green Mountain, those who had obtained the glazed balls sat down cross-legged and used their desolate bodies to activate the glazed balls. Bang! Some people failed. Without a desolate body, they were sent flying by the glazed ball's feedback and were directly eliminated. Some people who had cultivated for more than 2,500 years were also directly eliminated. Seeing this, Sakura and the others became nervous. This was because if Lin Ling entered the Yen state and they failed, it would be ugly. Therefore, they had to work harder. As for Meng Lu, he held the glazed ball in his hand and closed his eyes. Immediately, the originally transparent glazed ball turned pitch black. Ghostly aura rippled and the scene of the demon god's tomb appeared. At the same time, the glazed ball bloomed with 7 beams of light. This meant that he had a 7th grade desolate body. You actually improved your desolate body by so much after returning home. Seeing this, Sakura cried out in surprise and also activated the glazed ball. Moments later, 6 beams of light bloomed, making him chuckle. As for Lin Ling, he sat cross-legged and also looked at the glazed ball. Brother, can you see your talent from this? Beside him, Xiaoyu leaned forward and curiously stared at the glazed ball. Lin Ling smiled and nodded. This thing seems to be made from a boulder left behind from the era of the gods. It can indeed see one's talent. Hurry! Hurry! Xiaoyu wants to see your brother's talent. Hurry! Xiaoyu had the heart of a child and was curious about everything. All right. Lin Ling immediately nodded. Closing his eyes, he activated his talent. The glazed ball immediately emitted 5 beams of flame, representing a 5th grade desolate body. However, this was not the end. Lin Ling was still activating his talent, causing a dragon god to appear in the glazed ball. It continued to roar and another 5 beams of light bloomed. Beside him, Xiaoyu immediately exclaimed. Furthermore, this was not the end. A ferocious creature appeared in the glazed ball. It opened its mouth wide and wanted to devour the world. It was a realm-devouring beast. Another 5 beams of light appeared. This meant that among Lin Ling's 4 Dantians, 3 of them were 5th grade desolate bodies. At the same time, Lin Ling opened his eyes and could not help but be surprised. Following that, his expression changed and he quickly retracted all his power. He only allowed the glazed ball to release its fire elemental talent. This was because he did not expect the glazed ball to be so powerful that it could detect everything about him. And the 3 desolate bodies were all 5th grade, which added up to a 5th grade desolate body. This would definitely alarm the Grand Change Nebula sect. At this moment, he did not want to be in the limelight. In fact, he was indeed alarmed. At this moment, in the upper echelons of the Grand Change Nebula sect, there was a void filled with bamboo slips. A large number of elders sat quietly. They looked at the bamboo slips that filled the sky as if they were investigating something. TSK, a 7th grade desolate body has appeared. I have an 8th grade one here. Heavens, a 9th grade one has appeared here. Those old men all smiled with satisfaction. Suddenly, one of the elders' expression changed greatly. He pointed at one of the bamboo slips and exclaimed. Ah, ah, ah. This sudden exclamation completely frightened the surrounding people. Elder Hu, why are you so surprised? Everyone looked over with resentment. I just saw a 5th grade desolate body. The elder began to speak incoherently. His words silenced the void. There was a 5th grade desolate body in the land of the 9 prefectures. This must be a joke. According to logic, if it exceeded the 10th grade, it would be an ultimate desolate body. Elder Hu, you must be seeing things. Everyone shook their heads. Do you think someone with the heavenly tiger sacred realm physique would be seeing things? Elder Hu immediately retorted, causing everyone to frown. This was indeed impossible. Chapter 32-29. The Long March of the Starry Sky. How would I know? The feedback from the bamboo scroll is that there are indeed 15 lights. Furthermore, the lights are all different. Tell me, if this person has different desolate bodies, is it possible to have a 5th grade desolate body when added together? It's indeed possible. That's not right. How can a warrior have so many desolate bodies? It's too heaven-defying. Instantly, the elders were confused. A 5th grade desolate body seemed impossible, but having 3 5th grade desolate bodies was also impossible. Finally, they could only stare at the bamboo scroll, wanting to know who the owner of the bamboo scroll was. However, Lin Ling had already thrown away the glass ball from before and found a new one. As for the group of elders in the void, they were still staring at the bamboo scroll, but in the end, their eyes hurt and they could not see anything. This must be a disciple of constellation clouds. His talent barely qualifies. The other 2 are not bad. One is a 6th grade and the other is a 7th grade. Instead, in a corner, 2 elders looked at the bamboo scroll and said, "Sigh, such talent does not catch Master's eye." Following that, they ignored the bamboo scroll and treated it as the most ordinary thing in the assessment. Those who have 5 lights have successfully passed the first assessment. The second assessment is the Long March of the Starry Sky. Remember, you only have 2 hours. Before the time is up, you must traverse the myriad of worlds and find a token that belongs to you. Of course, if you are confident in yourself, you can go to the end. There is a source of life there that can greatly increase your strength. Of course, the Long March of the Starry Sky also has fey beasts. They are estimated to be at the peak of the half-saint realm. There are also weaker ones. If you know you are no match for them, you can think of ways to escape. Furthermore, there are stellar stones in the starry sky. They are treasures used to refine extreme weapons. If you can obtain them, they will be yours. If you pass this major assessment, you can also become a citizen of the Yen state. When the voice drifted out, those who had passed the test were all excited. Source of life. Sakura was very interested in the ultimate treasure. TSK, this is a treasure slightly weaker than the nether dragon's half-life liquid. Lin Ling's eyes flickered. Lin Ling, this treasure belongs to us. Dream Flow licked his lips, but Lin Ling smiled and said, the long march of the nebula is all about speed, and there are many people here who aren't weak in terms of speed. Therefore, I'll leave the source of life to you. You guys go and get the stellar stone. All right. Dream Flow and the others nodded. Brother. Xiao Yu tugged at Lin Ling's clothes. Lin Ling smiled and said, Xiao Yu, you won't be able to enter the nebula expedition. Follow old Do. Big brother will be out in 2 hours. All right. Xiao Yu nodded obediently. She hugged the little rabbit and held the little deer as she waited for Lin Ling to wake up. As for the others, their eyes flickered strangely. Clearly, they were all very interested in the source of life. As expected of a big sect in the Yen state. If such a treasure were placed in other divine prefectures, it would be regarded as a regional treasure. However, the Grand Change Nebula sect is using it as a reward. They are a sect left behind from the era of gods. The treasures they obtained during the era of gods far exceed our imaginations. There is no comparison. The source of life belongs to me. After a huge black hole appeared in the sky, the young men were in high spirits as they rushed into it. So did Lin Ling and the others. The black hole was like a universe with a myriad of worlds. It was like another 9 prefectures. However, Lin Ling knew that this was just a means of a martial ancestor expert. Unless Lin Ling used the deity's formation, he would not be able to break this means. Swoosh! 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 In the pitch-black void, the people started to rush forward. Some of them were lucky enough to get their own tokens and pass the test smoothly. However, they still wanted to get more rewards, so they continued to rush forward. There were 50 realm speed, 60 realm speed, and even 70 realm speed. This kind of speed could be said to be unique among the Sage-to-be realm. Lin Ling and the others followed behind the crowd leisurely. They were not in a hurry. After an unknown period of time, when there were fewer and fewer people around, Lin Ling and the other 2 looked at each other and said in unison, "Let's go." Lin Ling's 70 realm speed had not reached the peak. Sakra's speed was the slowest, 50 realm speed. As for Dream Flow, 60 realm speed. Lin Ling, let's get a token first. Dream Flow was secretly surprised by Lin Ling's speed, but he still spoke up. Lin Ling nodded. They wildly dashed through the pitch-black void. Before long, he found his own token. Next was Sakura and the others. With a token in hand, they had passed. But Lin Ling and the others weren't willing to stop here. "Let's go and get more star stones. Hide your identity and don't show off." "Okay." The 3 of them put on large cloaks and concealed their auras. Then, they madly dashed forwards. Before long, a great battle appeared in front of them. This was because a human-sized star stone had appeared. 2 groups of people were competing for it. One side had over a dozen people and the other side only had a single person. Attack! Follow the plan of the divine dreamland. Lin Ling's eyes shined with a sharp light. He immediately attacked the strongest person. With the Tyrant Song sword in hand, the divinity and demon body erupted. This sword was like the era of gods. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The strongest youth didn't think that someone would sneak up on him. His head was smashed and a small bump floated out. He struggled to turn his head and look at the cloaked Lin Ling. "Motherfucker, is it you again? In the divine dreamland, in the flame state, why do you always sneak up on me?" As he finished speaking, he fainted. "Damn, it's Xia Tianyi again." Not too far away, Sakura cried out in alarm. Dreamflow was dumbfounded. Lin Ling was speechless. What, him again? This was the 3rd time. "Brother Tianyi, I'm sorry. If there is a chance next time, I, Lin Ling, will return your favor." Then, Lin Ling began to attack the remaining people. With their strength, they were no different from hungry wolves jumping into a flock of sheep. After 3 incense sticks of time, everyone was knocked unconscious and their harvests were seized by Lin Ling and the others. There was no time to lose. Lin Ling and the others once again set foot on their journey. They plundered everything along the way and seized a massive number of stellar stones. Although these treasures could be used to temper extreme tools, to Lin Ling, they could also enhance the strength of his divinity and demon body. He had already treated his mortal body as a treasure to temper. "Lin Ling, we've already obtained many stellar stones. You can go to the finish line now. The remaining stellar stones will be seized by me and Sakura." Dreamflow's voice carried a trace of excitement. He knew that following Lin Ling, life would be extraordinary. "All right." Lin Ling finally erupted with a formidable speed, reaching 90 worlds of speed. This fellow. Seeing this, Dreamflow was startled. His speed isn't just this. Sakura had already experienced Lin Ling's speed, so he was accustomed to it. Where did Lin Ling go during this time? How did his strength increase so much? I can never catch up to him, and I am the young master of the Gravekeeper race. Dreamflow was clearly struck. Young master. Roast a pig, hurry up and get to work. Unfortunately, Sakura didn't give him any face. You're tuning into the Han Lee's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.